I've already seen this. I've already seen this. You've already done this episode before.
It's a joke.
We've already seen you do this. It's the remake season. We got 4 episodes we are remaking. This is one of them. This is going to be one of them.
Yep.
It's also a very good episode to do after you bite your tongue in half. Still got this.
How did that happen?
I was going to record a little video for New Year's Day, but what I do, Kyle, is that I grind my teeth while I sleep. I forgot to put my mouth guard in, and I end up slashing my tongue open while I was sleeping.
Oh wow, yeah, that sucks.
Yes, that's the whole thing. It's dumb. Like people will do that, but here we are. I feel like I'm about to go boxing every time I go to sleep.
The doctor.
Well, much like wrestling, the worm craves more flesh.
Exactly. You gotta draw on your blood while you sleep.
The doctor says I grind in my sleep. He's so real for that.
Yeah, for real. He just like me, for real. We're doing the Black Spelled Dancers episode with a sock over the microphone this time.
Yes. Yeah, we're going to talk about hermaphrodite black spirals, and it's going to be.
It's going to talk about the hottest of all the werewolf clans. We got Greed and we got Adam with us. Why are you two always together when you guest star?
Because they're best friends forever.
It's always the two of you specifically, like always with each other.
Why is it when there's trouble? It's always you two.
Yeah.
Not to speak for Adam here. I did originally come to his Discord, then I later came to your guys.
I was supposed to be for another one, but I got moved over here.
I said that episode was already full, so we brought you over for this one because I like your insights into this. You tell it like it is whenever it comes to werewolf stuff, so that's why we're here.
See, I wanted to talk about Ronan, K-Teeth, and the hollow ones.
Instead of talking about evil, lots of nasty evil.
Instead we open up with pedophilia. If we wanted to do that, we should have probably instead have done Clan Book Bali.
It's the Melvin Brother to Joker episode. Now we get to go into it. We're going to talk about.
If I would from the ball, they're corporate evil.
Corporate evil. The Bali episode came out fine. I still like what we did the Bali episode.
And which is why we're doing the Black Spiral episode, because it was quite literally the very first one we did.
Yeah, the very first episode that we did, where none of us had a working microphone except for Kyle.
That's because I'm a professional, that's why.
Even then, I think I've gotten too loud of my Audio Technica, because there's just a little bit of static when I listen to our most recent episodes. Right. I think I got too loud and I might have damaged it, if it works like that.
You can peak a microphone too much, and audio devices.
That's something I might have done, but
maybe that's what you get for being loud and angry all the time.
Next time I'm gonna get a Rodecaster, the really good ones.
I've got a Rode podcast. And it's pretty solid.
Wormcaster.
The only problem with it is that you need anyway. Don't worry about audio stuff. Don't worry about audio stuff. We're here to talk about the worm.
Let's go ahead. Let's get into it. Without further ado, our sources are going to be mostly Book of the Worm, first and second edition, because there was never a Black Spell Dancer book. That never happened.
To be fair, there probably should have been.
There really should have been, right? Because you notice that second edition never gives you character creation rules for a BSD character. You have to go to first edition for that. Because if you don't have this book, you're just shit out of luck whenever it comes to making a BSD.
That would explain why first edition as a book was probably a better written book.
It is. I swear to people that first edition had a vision. Now, that vision wasn't necessarily perfect because you had a bunch of silly shit in it, like Berlin by Night or what was it, Vampire First Edition. It was one of the 2 books saying...
I think Alien Hunger is also there. Dirty Secrets of the Black Hand as well. If you don't like vicissitude being an alien virus, you'll hate Dirty Secrets of the Black Hand.
A vampire killed a sire that would cure you of vampirism was in the original text. And
also there was vampire snakes. First edition was very wild.
The vampire snake. A lot of other weird, goofy shit that's in first edition too. Second edition felt right, and then revised, over-adjusted, and way too much change and revised. I don't like revised.
Third and fourth, in my opinion, was where they
revised is third. Yeah.
And 20th anniversary is a decent compilation. It's where I got my start in this.
It's 20th anniversary was good at bringing back old ideas. We'll bring back a little bit of 20th anniversary for this episode, but 20th anniversary. For Vampire, it felt like a decent continuation. That felt like a worthy successor. But then W20 feels more like fan fiction. And then fucking Mage 20 was run into the fucking ground by David Hill, who we will not be mentioning for the rest of the episode.
Hopefully.
Their entire legacy is that he wrote a whole bunch of garbage. And that's the reason why M20 is completely unusable when it comes to anything. But here we are with Book of the Worm First Edition. You, of course, know the story. We've told the story multiple times in the episode, but let's tell it a little differently. Let's do it the right way, off of where it looked like First Edition was going. Who were the BSDs before they were known as the BSDs?
Of course,
White
they
Howlers.
were the White Howlers.
The White Howlers. And where could you find a White Howler?
In Scotland!
In Caledonia.
Scotland.
Actually, if you want to go by genetic history, which all the werewolf tribes, the White Howlers were the Celts.
Caledonia,
Otherwise known as the
specifically Picts, because Celts expanded there first.
Yes. How it began is that when you look at the different tribes in Werewolf, some of them started because they had a region that they were bound to, and a lot of ideas bound to that one region as well, like the Sunstriders and the Stargazers, for example. You have one star based off of feats and miracles in the past, like the Silver Fangs and the Children of Gaia. You have one star based off of classes, like the Black Furies and the Bonars. And then you have, I believe it is 5 that are based off of family lineage. Those being the Uktena, the Wendigo, the Gedefenris, the Fianna, and the White Howlers. Because you had a relative that started the clan, and then all of you are the descendants of that original wolf. Be it the guy who made the pact with Great Uktena, be it the woman who discovered the metamorphosis of Wendigo from Yeti. But in regards to the big European 3, the White Howlers, the Gedefenris, and the Fianna, the Gedefenris were, of course, it's in their name, you all came from Fenrir, the strongest wolf that has ever lived and will ever live. And you all named yourself after him, and that guy was around for years and years as a spirit incarna because he just refused to be dead. You then had Fianna, who was based off of Fianna Mackenhale, and then his legacy is secure. And then the name's a little bit weird. It's Cluid for the White Howlers, like Cluid or Cluade.
Cluid, which is yeah, that's I think it's based on a specific deity that was native to the region.
Because I looked it up on Google and it gave me no results.
So I think it was something like specific to the World of Darkness.
It might have been
no, it's I've heard it before in Celtic terms. Let me look it up.
That Scottish war god, if you can pull that up.
It's not necessarily a Scottish war god.
But
Cluid means the seat beside the fire. It was traditionally offered to guests as a sign that they were welcome and their deeds would be taken care of.
And that's who they named it after. And Cluid was the guy who would go in, find this place in the northern English Isles, aka Scotland, aka Caledonia, aka the kingdom of. It's a 4-letter word with an A that's currently escaping me, but whatever. His family and his descendants would find this region, and it become known as the White Howlers.
Oh, the Scottish name I think is Alba.
Yes, that's the name. Thank you. And basically, that was it. That's all their ancient history really is. We don't really have much ancient history as for like anything beyond that because the Black Sword Dancers may or may not have destroyed all records as to who they used to be.
Well, I have something even funnier. I have a conspiracy.
Say it.
Do you?
Oh.
Cluid is Irish, meaning that the White Howlers were never a tribe.
They were an offshoot of the Fianna.
They were the unholy love child of the Fianna and Get all along.
And that's why you have.
Fair, if you want to use that analogy, all other werewolf tribes are offshoots of the Silver Fangs.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I'm surprised they didn't decide to make one of the tribes based on the Roman founding myth.
Because
that would have been cool. I won't lie, but they
that
already
would have been the worst
Amazon
of men.
They went there. They went the Amazonian.
It would make sense, but they didn't go with it.
And then they completely abandoned that history too by the Glasswalkers.
And to be fair here, even if they didn't make a tribe off of that founding myth, they could have made an entire What's
camp.
The name of camp? Thank you, a camp based off that,
or something like that Sabarak or like the Bolish or Hije, where you have a tribe within a tribe.
Oh, that's unfortunate because I'm just now envisioning the equivalent of like werewolf mafia.
Well,
you have that with the Glasswalkers.
Yeah, you have that with the Glasswalkers. Yeah. Literally, there's the camp, the wise guys.
Yeah, but they made a pact with Giovanni. They have a whole non-aggression pact with Giovanni in America. And going into everything with the White Howlers. Now, in terms of the history of other tribes, you did have the White Howlers get involved with Fianna ancient history back when they were fighting the Fomorians, where Fianna ancient history got tied in with the history of changing to dreaming, where they both fought the Fomorians, and the Fomorians were different from the Fomori that we know today in Werewolf. The Fomorians were more nightmares made manifest, if I'm going to put their perspective in.
They are literally causing embodiment of the first fears humanity ever felt.
I would have said Unseelies in the style of Banes.
Yeah, very similar to how Chainsaw Man has the primal fears, and then you have the really, really strong cursed spirits in Jujutsu Kaisen. Is the best analogy I have for that. Guys like Sakuna, where you're going up in combat with these guys as a werewolf, and you're fighting against a Fomorian that can just have a little black line pop up on your body, and then you blink, and that body part is now severed. He didn't even touch you. That's level power.
Terrifying. Turns out when everyone fears the dark and the being that's born from the universal fear of the dark is very powerful.
That's one of the reasons I think that an equivalent would be the Jotun in the Get a Fenris book. They kind of were similar in concept.
And they were, the Fianna were getting absolutely dog-walked by the Fomorians. They were running risk of being completely exterminated as a tribe. Except the White Howlers didn't want that to happen. The White Howlers came in, focused more on saving the Fianna than fighting the Fomorians. They just left that for the Sealy Court to do. And of course, the courts would fight off the Fomorians, seal them away behind the barriers of the dreaming, and now we don't have to worry about them anymore. Not even in the end time scenario, because the Fomorians don't even get released in some of those scenarios. So that barrier's up there to stay.
So you're revealing that the Fianna were always doomed to die, given that they had their names changed in 5th edition. So they've always sucked. Got it.
They were. The Fianna, well, when you look at them mechanically, too, the Fianna actually are the weakest of all the playable tribes.
Why were you taken when instead we could have had the White Howlers?
No, wait, hold on.
Of course, that's part of the tragedy. You're stuck with me. Get fucking used to it.
I mean, you just described welfare in a nutshell.
No. I know you said I know this is the Black Spirals episode, but really, Fianna the weakest in gift wise, really?
Yeah, the weakest by gift by a mile, by a massive mile. I mean, they're hard to kill, but so are the Crotons, so are the Gephinimus, so is Annie Philodox. Question mark.
It's not that hard to get that amount of survivability, yeah.
And because they were neighbors, the Fianna and the White Howlers became best friends in terms of tribes. But there was never going to be a point where one was going to be absorbed into the other. The Fianna had their whole ties in ancient history with the fairies. We'll talk more about that some other day. And the White Howlers were very individualistic. They had this whole "we are Gaia's chosen people" kind of mentality, because what was the job of the Gephinimus, Kyle?
Kill everything they looked at.
Yeah, just go out, expand for the numbers and glories of Fenrir. What was the job of the Fianna?
The job of the Fianna, well, our job is to make sure that you all know where the fuck you came from, and you have a language to speak.
Oh, I thought it was beat your kinfolk and get drunk.
Well, that too, but the more important jobs are to make sure that you have a language to speak.
Now, what the job of the White Howlers is that these were mercenaries of passion instead of profit. Their job was to specifically find corrupted cairns that were sullied by the worm and the weaver, to run in, purify them, and restore them to the glory of Gaia, which is why they got their reputation as Gaia's favorite tribe. Now, so whether or not Gaia said that to them, or the White Howlers gave that to themselves, is up for debate, because how many other tribes also said they were Gaia's favorite?
Of them.
I mean, should a Gaia and Silverfangs come to mind, for example?
Literally all of them.
And the White House would go around, they purify sullied cairns, which was not a small task, because this was during a pretty flimsy period of consensus. This was back when the traditions were in charge of everything in terms of magic. So the beasts of the worm during this time were very strong. And what were the gifts of the White Howlers like? Well, they were berserkers. As in the kind of gifts where I take additional damage to make my attack stronger, kind of berserker. Where, to put it into perspective as to what it'd be like to fight one of these guys, if you stabbed a White Howler with a spear, they would intentionally slide down the shaft of your spear all the way to your knuckles just to get up into your face and strangle you.
And to be fair,
pretty similar to like the Celts always had a strong berserker tradition. I would argue even stronger.
Yeah, no,
It was even stronger than the Nordic one because of woad warriors. They would dye themselves blue and run towards you naked, usually with a stiffy. And on top of that, the Celts had a understanding of death is something that should not be frowned upon. Like death is glorious, and there's a reason that suicide rates in the Isles only dropped when Catholicism came into it.
Yeah.
Because it didn't mean shit. Like if you died, oh no, you left the Summerlands, you're in the underworld. You're there you go.
That stiffy came from the blue Viagra paint they were painting on themselves.
But yeah, like Adam just said here, considering the culture they're based off of, their gifts actually make a lot of sense.
Exactly. It's a very high risk, high reward playstyle if you ever do a dark, not even Dark Ages. They're dead by the time of Dark Ages.
They're way dead beyond then, yeah.
Like Bronze Age biblical times kind of game.
You know, I think the only time you could get away with playing White Howlers is when the Roman Empire is just about to collapse.
Yeah, because the beginning of the end began with the year 80 is when they began to go to shit with them. Now, the Defiler Worm was thinking to herself, wouldn't it be great if I had a tribe I could call my own and that I could possess? And she's going through a list as to who can and can't be possessed. Silver Fangs are the ideal option, but no, it's impossible. You can't do it. Even this was back when the Silver Fangs started to have their power. Gefenris, no, can't pull that off. Shell Lords, no. Actina, well, given that the Actina just killed all the forces of the worm in South America, definitely not.
Nope.
Now we're down to the loser tribes, and the only other one we can do is the White Howlers. I guess it's going to have to be them. So plan, possess, and corrupt the White Howlers was a go. The Defiler Worm looks over and thinks to herself, how am I going to do this? And it so happens that the Roman Empire is doing the work for her. They're going over, you have Hadrian's Wall that gets built in. Is it 12... Is it 112 or 122?
120 or so AD.
Somewhere in there.
There's actually two levels. There's the Hadrian's Wall, and then there's a secondary wall that they built. I forget the name of that one. Basically, there's the one that's the proper borders of Scotland and England. That's why it's geographically kind of like that. And then there's another area just a little bit north of Edinburgh, which is where the maximum Roman extent ever got. Also, the reason they never went up to Caledonia, besides logistics, have you seen how fucking shit Scotland is when you get that far north?
I've been there. It's a terrible place to go.
It's a lot of friggin' mountains. Just mountains
it's
everywhere.
It's a lot of darkness. The sun doesn't fucking shine in Scotland.
And you wonder why they're so pasty.
Yeah.
I went 11 days without seeing the sun there, Kyle.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Scotland is the nightmare place. Why go there? Especially since there's nothing of value relatively. The people there, they already had low opinions, by the way, of the Britons, because in Roman tradition, they were described as being semi-animal people who would sit in the muck, similar to that of a toad, blinking owlishly at anyone near them. This is the thought on the first governor of Britannia.
And you're wondering why they put the canonical hole to hell that leads directly to Malpheus is in Scotland for a reason.
Wait, it is?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the Mile Deep Loch. Yeah. That's what it is.
Yeah, you can just jump into hell in Scotland.
But wait, hold on. I'm sorry here. Just to say this to the audience, they're one of the few more gender forward armies. The women actually fought butt naked too. So
if you want to kill,
it
you
wasn't
can kill.
as common, but yes, essentially in home defense, the Britons were fucking hardcore.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason why one of their more known rebellions was Boudica's rebellion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if I remember correctly here, they killed her husband. She said, fuck you, and proceeded to she almost did, except for a legendary general that came out around, push most of the Romans out of Britannia.
Yes.
Not really, but she was able to defeat a couple of armies before getting backstabbed because the whole politics of the tribes have always been fucking cancerous.
Yep.
You
There's a
had
reason why the Saxons even settled. It's because they backstabbed each other when the Romans left.
You had the White Howlers that were fighting against the Roman Empire during this time. And the White Howlers were up against, namely, Fomorians. Just the crappy. Well, they were kind of crappy, but like Fomori is always going to be like the bottom bitch whenever it comes to the Force of the Worm.
Correctly here, it was the Ventru who was mainly going after them.
Oh no, the Malkavians. That's who it was.
Oh really? I thought it was the Ventru.
Yeah, because during this time, the Ventru were looking over at Constantinople. What that land would eventually become? The Ventru were expanding eastward. The Malkavians were left at a home front, and the Malkavians were very easy to turn to Bane vampires that the Filer found. And so she just turned them into these different mad generals that were hanging out at the Colosseums, fucking everybody to death in the dungeons before sending them out to go and fight in the middle of the fields against the Gauls and the Norsemen. Now, the Gaefimers were doing a good job pushing back against the Fomori, but the Picts were beginning to struggle a little bit because of just the sheer amount of people that the Father Worm was sending over. On top of that,
just, let's be blunt, Caledonia, again, what farmland? What mine? Do you want to know why the spear was the most common weapon that was used by Picts? It's because it was also the most common weapon in most of Bretonnia. Why? Because swords are fucking expensive and they struggled to get iron out of the ground.
Yes.
Wait, hold on. I just realized something here. There is actually a good reason to live and stay in Ireland. One actually good reason.
No, but everybody leaves you alone.
No, the redheads.
That's it. You got all this pussy in Ireland.
The Romans never even tried to conquer Hibernia because that's well beyond their supply.
They never got to know what that poon tastes like.
They knew about the island. They just saw nothing of value there.
With Scotland, with the White Howlers, what the White Howlers forgot to do was turn off their moon bridges. So what the Defeller Worm would do is that she'd get a reasonably strong Fomori to just step over into the moon bridge, because Luna says anybody that has her power of rage can use this. The Fomori would just jump across the bridge, pop up behind enemy lines, and tell nobody, let nobody know you're here. Hide out somewhere in Scotland, and once enough people come over, then we do the ambush attack, where we come in, attack a cairn, and then wipe them all out before they even know what's attacking them. As for why was nobody helping them during this time, well, it's because the Fireworm was moving so fast that the White Howlers had no opportunity to really get the horn out. And when they did, the Fianna were willing to help them, but the White Howlers were saying, no, we can do this ourselves, we don't need your help. It'll be appreciated, but this is our fight. You worry about your own shit that you're dealing with. And
the reason they did this is, here's the other thing, since I'm actually looking through the section.
Yes.
It's because the previously thought to have been cleansed cairns, they kind of botched several of them. They didn't quite finish the job. That's why the Fomori were able to sneak in and hide as easily as they did. Several of the ones they cleansed weren't fully cleansed. So.
Along with that, you start having, you notice that a massive issue within the Hero Nation is that the most violently deranged members tend to have leadership positions. Those leaders then said, well, how about we just fight the Fomori by just going fucking apeshit in combat? And so they did, where they would intentionally keep storing rage until they had 10 points of temporary rage, which makes you very easy to possess when you do that. And they would just run out and frenzy in public and fighting against the forces of the Roman Empire, which would go horribly wrong because they were killing both ally and enemy in the process of doing that. It was a fucking shit show that the White Howlers refused to say that they were wrong about. On top of that, you had the Gaefimers looking over and saying, oh, well, this is a fucking shit show. Here, step aside, let us handle this. The Gaefimers started pushing the White Howlers out of their own territory, slowly taking over these cairns one by one so they could fight the Roman Empire the right way, according to the Gaefimers.
Speaking of which, I'm reading this section about, what did White Wolf mean when they said that the Picts degenerated into the Scots when the Fomori, violated them?
Well, it started happening is that they got Bane possessed. They got Bane possessed and fucking killed their sperm counting and eggs.
Thus tainting the proud bloodline with the worm's poison. So you've heard it here. Scottish people are an abomination.
I mean, you look at women that come out of... You look at women that come out of this aisle, how many of them are attractive, Kyle?
A good number, actually.
I don't know.
0 out of 10.
Damn, dude.
If you look at a British man, nobody's getting any bitches in Britain.
Look, hold on.
This guy went bald when he was 20.
I must stop you right there, dude. This is Scotland, the prime location of redheads, and redheads are pretty good looking.
Bullshit.
Not really.
I was over in this place. There ain't no fucking redheads
I'm
here.
not going to.
Not really. Like, no.
And around here, well, the gene pool was going to shit. The Gefimers were on one end, the Fomori were on the other end, and eventually, what happened is that they got down to only having one cairn left, the Septon Mile Deep, where the Defiler Worm finally played her big trap card of releasing the Kraken. As it turns out, the Loch Ness Monster does not look like a plesiosaur. It looks like a giant tentacle monster who came out of the ground, immediately made a beeline for every elder, didn't kill them, captured them, and then just dragged them down into a freshly dug hole that leads to hell, and then dipped.
It's even dumber than that. So remember how you mentioned that they were storing their rage? Most of the tribe, in a fit of dumb, saw this pit to Malpheus and said, "I bet," and burned their rage to get to the bottom. The good news is they did. The bad news is they made it to the bottom.
Exactly. There's a whole spiral labyrinth waiting for you at the very end. 9 levels of mind-bending torment, where even the strongest warrior is forced to see the most evil shit imaginable that will slowly begin to eat away at your soul until it turns you fully worm-possessed when you reach the bottom. Only 2 wolves in all of War of the Apocalypse have managed to get to the bottom of this place. That being number 2 and Hakaken. And that's it. Those are the only 2.
From what I understand, number 2 may not even be, like, that's only an assumption. It's not necessarily, like, he's not necessarily
to summarize for the audience here, only 2 wolves, the second one is up for debate, ever reached the actual center of the...
And one of them became I forget the term, like Magini or whatever. The high-ranking metaphysical monster thing.
Yeah, Hakaken is a totem. And then number 2 is now the ruler of Malpheus, where he just sits in the middle of the closest we have to hell in the World of Darkness, and he just sits there. Though First Edition paints the story in a different light. Because First Edition... Kyle, have you seen Candyman?
I've done.
The 1992 movie with Tony Todd?
Wait, which one?
The original one that came out in the 90s.
Oh, then yeah.
There's a scene in it that goes through my mind with the White Hellers in the situation, because what it is that the White Hellers are less doing this out of almost like Spurg-like rage, just going into the hellhole, thinking they can take on the worm. But First Edition paints a different story, where the White Hellers just look at this situation where Fomori, Gedephenris, everything around them going to shit. The White Hellers just take a moment where they just stop and just look. There's a scene in Candyman where it's when Helen comes back to her apartment after her life completely falls apart and she finds out that the one thing she thought she had left, her husband, has been cheating on her the entire time. And it's like that scene where the White Hellers just sit down and just have a quiet moment where they're just in silence for a few minutes and they think to themselves, it's over. It's over. There's nothing I can do about this. There's no way I can come around this, because even if I win this next fight I'm going into, I have nothing to gain out of that fight. I've already lost everything. And according to First Edition, that last battle wasn't even a battle. The White Hellers just got up, walked into the hellhole, and willingly made a pact with the Defiler Worm. And that's how the story goes in First Edition.
Honestly,
there was kind of not. What happened was they legitimately they stormed down as fast as they could, because in their own words, if they stopped to think, they would have collectively entered Hirano.
Yeah, second edition, and then fucking
I'm reading in First Edition here too. It's on page
first. Oh yeah, because there's a whole cold open section about Hirano, because this was all they had. It was either you go into this last battle knowing you're going to lose, or you go into Hirano. Those are your 2 options. And between the 2, which one are you going to go for?
Gave up pretty quickly. The only one that had any will left was a person by the name of Kororok. And even then, he only stayed specifically as a warning.
And he quickly gets killed by other BSDs for escaping. He dies a coward's death.
Well, after revealing it, because that's the point.
And then Debbie20 wants to say that the White Howlers fell because none of the tribes are helping me. None of the tribes are helping me. I'm going to go and fight this all by myself then. I honestly hate that story in Debbie20.
Wait, hold on. To summarize here, they're right that none of the tribes helped them, but by that point, again, I do have to remember.
But by that point, they were
Fianna
completely
was
cut off from
helping
all
them, but not
contact.
much.
Yeah, the Fianna were trying to help them, but the pride of the White Howlers was getting in the way. The Gavfinris were going to forcibly absorb the White Howlers, and the Surfangs blocked off all contact from everything else because the Surfangs wanted to do this their own way. And even if they accepted help from the Fianna, where was the logical conclusion that going to be? They have no cairns to return to besides maybe one. And they knew that if they accepted the Fianna's help, it was going to end with them being forcibly absorbed into the Fianna, one way or the other.
So it was all a matter of pride.
By that point, you've already lost everything, and they'd rather die as themselves than go along with the Fianna and lose their last bit of individuality in their minds.
In fairness, the Get wasn't involved at all. What do you mean we? I was busy fighting in Scandinavia and northern Russia.
I was busy looking for Odin in space, according to the Galliard Fenris.
I would be wrong here, but if I think the Galliard Fenris were repelled most of the.
Oh yeah, they eventually came in and swept everything, but that's later down the line.
Eventually, but that took centuries later. Essentially, what happened is, since I kind of went through briefly, the only ones that were available were the Fianna.
And that was it.
Fianna, you think that they're going to help you?
And by the way, the Fianna have their own problems to deal with the Uncity Court during this time as well.
Yeah, so they were kind of reduced to that. They saw their kinfolk get collectively turned into Scotsmen by getting molested by the Formori. I think at that point you would also want to enter Hirano, so they kind of just went down to try to face honorable death, but that didn't happen.
Quickly lost morale upon realizing what was waiting for them in the Spiral Labyrinth.
Well, what happened was they went down to the bottom. They walked down the spiral. The tentacles grabbed them. The Loch Ness Monster grabbed them and proceeded to buck break them on a level only thought to be hypothetical.
I beg your pardon, fucking what?
Yeah.
As I read, Kororok, what happened was he got to see his entire tribe get
fucked by a tentacle monster.
Butt fucked.
Pumped full of balefire in some cases, literally.
Yes.
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
It burnt the white fur black, and then it gave them these horrible green scars across their body, and they reemerged as the Black Spiral Dancers.
Essentially, they Joker maxed.
Yes. They all took the black pill and became Black Spiral Dancers. And
decided to base their looks on Junji Ito art, because several pieces in this book are very heavily traced from Junji Ito's work.
Yeah, they're horribly deformed. And when you look around at the rest of history in this time, it's a lot of fluff because the story kind of ends by that point, but they were still around in Scotland during this time, playing essentially Game of Thrones with each other, where the first order of business that the Father Worm put them through upon re-emerging from the labyrinth was, okay, I've got my new werewolf tribe to play with. Your first order of business, kill the Roman Empire. I want to see if my new toy is better than my old toy. And the new toy won. And upon proving that that the whole project was worth doing, they started hanging around for years and years, hundreds of years in the Kingdom of Alba, essentially just pretending that they didn't exist. The Gavfinris probably didn't give a shit during this time. Only the Fianna really knew what happened. And what we get about the stories from the Fianna's perspective. But the Scots during this time are all killing each other so they can become king. And then I kill you, and then you kill me, and then you become king for a day, and then somebody kills you, and it's essentially just the same old story you've heard from medieval politics however many times before.
To quote a famous thing, there can only be one.
There can only be one.
Yep.
You got the sword of Damocles hanging over your head. You have all the power, but you can't ever enjoy it. And that's the whole issue. And this would go on until 843, when Kenneth MacAlpin, a kinfolk of the Surfangs, who claimed that he was like an OG White Howler kin before becoming a Surfang kin, said, I am going to call Lion, the original totem of the White Howlers, and we're going to go in and we're going to kill the BSDs. Except the whole plan went up in smoke because he was only ever seeing Lion as a lion, not the same way that the White Howlers saw Lion. So he never got his true power. What Lion was supposed to be is that he is the incarnate of courage and willpower itself. an actual spirit of valor, where the more faith you put in Lion pulling you through a situation, the more power he's going to put into you. Which is why the White House was hard and as fierce as they did. Because the Silverfangs only ever saw Lion as an instrument for their own glory, they never got that true power, and their asses got handed to them by the Black Spiral Dancers when they went and fought them. Along with that, they realized the hard way how the BSDs fought. The Wyrmish could have wiped them out during this time if they knew how to fight the Black Spirals. The Black Spirals will point out all these different new tips and tricks that the Wyrmish had never seen before. These new gifts where he ripped his fingernail off, and now acid and poison is jetting out of his finger like a squirt gun. How am I supposed to handle this?
He randomly teleported behind me and stabbed me through the chest. He literally shot fucking bones out of his knuckles.
Basically,
he spontaneously can resist claws even more because he spontaneously grew a carapace.
Along with that, they were using Fomori powers without the drawbacks to it.
Yeah, no, that's the other reason about the Black Spirals. I know we're jumping ahead with the statements. Like, if you give Black Spirals combined with Fomori powers without the negatives, they're fucking nigh unstoppable.
Very strong.
I love how the Highland regions specifically. What did White Wolf mean by this? By having the Lowlanders be the fount of civilization? What did you mean by this?
Adam, you know full well why.
Lowlanders knew what they were talking about.
And well, no, they don't. Because have you ever seen what the Borderlands were like with the Reavers?
Yeah.
Fuck no, they weren't.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What meth were they smoking when they came up with this?
Not enough.
Back in first and second edition, crack.
I gotta love how crazy the story was back in the early edition. I love it. I actually do love it. And after another Surfang L, why the fuck does anyone take the Surfang seriously?
To be fair here, I genuinely believe the writers started to do the warp effect to the Silverfangs.
I mean, the Silverfangs only have one achievement throughout their entire history, and that's their first achievement, and that's it.
Look, I get the idea.
Yeah.
Look, I get the idea the Silverfangs were supposed to represent doomed nobility, but the writers very much so took the piss out of them. I'm sorry, they did.
I mean,
also low key, they start thieving from Shakespeare again, as you do.
Where they say that the entirety of Macbeth actually happened, and every character in Macbeth was a Black Spiral Dancer. Incredible.
Yeah, I did read that. I'm like, this doesn't sound right.
Although werewolves didn't literally storm the halls, they were involved in most of it.
Mm-hmm.
As in, at one point, when the trees of Burnham Woods actually moving, yeah, that actually happened. They were possessed. Like it was more Last March of the Ents than it was the Shakespearean play where they dressed up as foliage and moved.
That'd be sick to see in person.
I bet.
These tree monsters coming after you. And then the Black Spiral Dancers had to keep their heads down because they were already engaged.
The Kingdom of Scotland lost its independence. Are you foolish? You're full of shit. They stayed independent for like another 200 years before the English moved up there.
Yeah, after we got the history wrong, the Black Spiral Dancers had to go and spread out.
Remember correctly, I could be entirely wrong. England only claimed Scotland, or is it Ireland, within the past 50 years? I could be wrong.
No, at this point, they were still trying to set. Like, we're talking 11th century. This is just the end of like the Dunkeld line at most. Like, no, yes. Scotland stays independent for like another 200 years. We don't see this until like John Balliol.
When 1484 comes around, we have Pope Innocent the Fourth with the witch trials.
Brother, the entire point of Macbeth was specifically to help reinforce the Stuarts' line because they were a parvenu fucking line of nobles that just took the throne of England.
Yeah. Somebody got paid to make political propaganda back in the day.
This is basically a shittier version of the Three Kingdoms Ming propaganda.
Yeah, it was written so eloquently it never ever caught on.
I love that Shakespeare invented half of the English language by just making words up on the fly. One of the words he invented was literally the word alligator. We didn't have a word for that thing until he made it up on the fly.
And it was done.
Really? You know what? I believe that.
Also, he's not high. He's not high culture. This is a man who once wasted several pages of a play just making fun of how fat a woman is.
Nice.
2 pages of fart jokes in a different play.
No.
And in the hit romance Romeo and Juliet, Mercutio's solution to Romeo's problem of falling in love with a rival house is to simply just do her in the ass.
That's it.
When he says pick a plum, that basically means do her up the ass.
I gotta pick that plum, you know.
No, I will say this about Shakespeare. Love old linguist fucking slander or insults.
I mean, what was it? Macbeth had an entire section where a graveyard keeper just drunkenly talks about death.
He says, alcohol, I love it, but it makes my dick soft, you know?
Shit, man, I forgot about the
insult. Yeah.
He would have done it in iambic pentameter. It would have been fantastic.
There's a whole theory that the whole section with the gatekeeper was added by someone else, and it's just been kept in the original text for years and years.
What happened was the person playing the
porter.
Yeah, the person playing. Someone was missing. They couldn't actually do the scene. They broke their leg or something, or they were trying to get their costume on, so they ad-libbed with like 2 of the fucking stagehands.
And they kept it in the script. 1484, Pope Innocent begins to witch hunts. Now, while the Black Spell Dancers were already engaged in trench warfare by this time, they begin to think, okay, now we got the order, like the proto Order of Reason. No, it actually is just the straight up Order of Reason. Breathing down our necks, we can't necessarily operate like we were before. So Scotland is cool, but let's spread out. So you start going across the sea. We're going to go into Scandinavia the best we can and hope the government doesn't notice us. Into Spain, mainland Europe, Germany, France, going all the way down to Italy. Some of them head all the way down into Africa. Some of them go all the way to Asia. So it's spread out across the world. And how we're going to operate is that this whole war we're doing, where we're going and meeting you in the street and fighting you in the street, it's starting to get a little bit stale. Because we could still do that, but no, let's do this. You know the saying from Iron Man, Kyle, the best weapon you fire is the weapon you fire only once?
Yep, basically.
Well, let's make it the weapon we don't have to fire at all.
And so Whippoorwill goes over and goes, "Hey fellas, I got something for you.
I'm the bird who tells all the lies, and you're going to have me be your new terrible totem."
And on the bright side, at least. Oh, that's pretty cool.
Well, good news. Mexico's not the source of the initial corruption today. It's usually the source of evil in all White Wolf products, but no. New England.
Mexico.
New England this time.
And they're asking Whippoorwill, "Hey, where'd you fly in from?" He said, "Oh, from across the ocean." There's an entire world across the ocean? Yeah, check it out. And so they go all the way over to a new world, and they look around and say, "Hey, this place is pretty nice. It's pretty empty. Where's all the worm beasts? Where's all the monsters at? Oh, they've all been killed by the Ictina. How about
the Ictina have gotten lazy? It's a cool idea. What? Let's summon one of the triad. Well, not one of the triad. The triune. What's the term for
the triadic worms?
Yeah,
triad. Let's summon a triadic worm.
There's a whole prophecy that a consumption worm's going to come here. Oh, awesome! I like to meet a consumption worm, don't you? But hold on, let's not actually do it. Let's get some other schmuckhead to do it for us. Let's pick the Shadow Lords. They'll do it for us. And so they begin to just slowly chip down the communication between the Shadow Lords and the Ictina until the Shadow Lords look one day and say, "You're tending Banes. You must be Bane possessed." And that led to the whole debacle between the Shadow Lords and the Ictina, where they freed a Bane, like the fucking stupid idea the Shadow Lords did. That Bane then ran off and freed another Bane, then it then freed another Bane, then it freed another, and then eventually that freed the Consumption Worm. And then thanks to the BSDs, communications completely broke down between the Ictina and the Shadow Lords, and then War of Rage Part 2 happened.
Also, there's some really cool art in the second edition, which I think is traced from, if I recall, a Hellboy panel.
And we have this giant worm.
I love the Devourer. I love the Triadic Worm here, just looming over the. It's wrong for the area, but I love it.
He's got a mouth that's filled with other mouths.
Oh, also a very fun fact. We actually now have much more data on what happened to Roanoke. They integrated with the local natives. We actually found smithing tools there, like actual basic blacksmithing there.
Yeah, the Croats have been here the entire time. Just been keeping on the down low. Don't tell nobody they're here.
Yeah, they actually didn't all jump into the... I have a solution to defeat this problem. What? We feed ourselves to it.
Yeah.
To be fair, it's a triadic worm, and none of you are none of you are Fenrir, and none of you is the first wolf.
It's 1/3 of the force of cosmic death and entropy. You can't fight this thing head to head.
I know. I just think that giving it what it wants is something that I'd hear out of a really bad anime. What if we hit it? What if we fed it really, really hard with our bodies?
And then you gave it the itis, and then it banished.
And then
it
got
banished. Yeah, from the food coma.
To be fair,
Krispy
to give
Kreme
Adam
donuts.
to give Adam his fair shake, that is a common trope. Oh yes, the enemy gets stronger the more I hit him. What if I hit him more?
And there we go. And then he bloated to horrible size, and then got banished into Dark Umber because of it.
Yeah, but this is a funny way to
won by a Zap Brannigan method.
Yeah.
How did you manage to defeat them, Croatan? And then the song, we knew that the Devourer of Souls could only eat so much. Therefore, we fed our own tribe to them one by one until it reset his.
It's like that robot chicken bit where the Cookie Monster attacks the Keeper elves, and they hold the Cookie Monster down and fill it with Keeper cookies until it explodes.
Yeah, no. This is how I view the fucking them get rid of the consumption worm. They all just form into a giant ball and ram down his throat, and he fucking coughed and fell backward.
Oh, like an Indian Terminator, where in the Bollywood production, where the robots like form the weird ball and bad CGI. So like, I'm just envisioning a bunch of Krynos.
We will fight the consumption worm in Gmod.
Basically,
what you're saying is they defeated the worm.
Props out of it.
With Hollywood dance routine before forming into a sphere of werewolves to shove itself down its throat.
Kyle, you got a physics gun ready?
Well, that house fake it wasn't that far off though. That wasn't that far off though.
And then nothing really happens in this book after that. I mean, like, you got something with them, like, let's fucking with spirit tunnels in 1803, and then they came into contact with the Sabbat for the first time, even though the Sabbat's been around for 300 years. Why did it take you this long for you to finally find them? But either way, they meet the Sabbat, and they come to an agreement. They say, you hate the Camarilla, we hate the Garo Nation. These are two different groups that tell us that we can't do what we want to do. How about we sometimes help each other out? Sometimes. I mean, you got your own thing going on, and we got our own thing going on. We want to kill all of humanity. You don't want us to do that. You want only a little bit of humanity to be dead, and for you to control them. Fine. We'll get along until the actual apocalypse happens.
So I just noticed something interesting. This compact happened around the time of the Napoleonic Wars specifically.
Yeah.
I think it's right around the time the King of Sweden was violently deposed and killed because they lost the war with Russia over Finland.
And during this time, the Camarillas having an oh shit, oh fuck moment because the Anarch Free State just reestablished itself after being dead for 300 years.
It's funnier than that because they decided to go this route. This means that society in Sweden collapsed specifically because they lost their autocratic king.
Yeah.
What did you mean by this?
The king's dead. Who's going to tell me what to do anymore? And clear my throat. Along with it too, they realized that there was a path called the Path of Evil Revelations. And they looked at the Sabbat and they said, you gotta do that more. You gotta start going down that path more. We'd like to cut that path's jib. And if we could start doing that more, because as it turns out, it directly empowers the Calamity Worm if you do that. Amazing. You were of the worm the entire time and you didn't even know. You thought you were just being a piece of shit.
So what you're saying is the entire events of Berlin by Night is because of the Black Spiral Dancers encouraging the Prince of Berlin to
get what an asshat Gustav Brenstein is. Would not surprise me at all. And then you have eco-terrorist shit going on. They forgot the Bunyip bit in this book. There's the whole Bunyip story. We've already told this story before. Rachel's Australia. Fuck it.
Well, this is the remaster. We should actually tell it. Where
okay, so in 1903, the Black Spiral Dancer Marta Scream thought to herself, "Wouldn't it be really funny if we killed another tribe, the Bunyip, the tribe that doesn't really do anything?"
Yes, they chill in Australia and do vision quests.
But we don't do it. We get the Red Talons to do it for us. Here, I got an expert idea. They take 2 dead kids from the Red Talons and just drop them off in front of Wyrmbader's house. Wyrmbader being this very big, very scary, very violent, very stupid Red Talon who sees the dead kids and thinks, these kids are dead. It must be the Bunyip's fault. And then he immediately leads this massive tirade along against the Bunyip, pays the Gedfimers and Fianna to do it. I don't know what he paid them.
In flesh and gifts.
And boons.
Wait, I thought the Gedfimers were the ones who actually put the Bunyip to extinction.
Oh, no, it's the Red Talons who did it.
No, the Get were busy committing genocide in America at this time.
That's
the
true.
Gedfimers the Gedfimers just say, somebody's fighting somebody, oh boy, and they just run into a fight. It doesn't really matter what the fight is as long as they get to do it.
Yep.
As long as the Gedfimers get to flex on somebody. And they told the Fianna to use their greatest weapon of racism. And the Fianna did. And then the Red Talons killed all the Bunyip, and then Wyrmbader finally thought to himself, wait, hold on, man, this is a really stupid idea. And Mara the Scream reveals herself and said, you're right, it was a really stupid idea. You did all my dirt work for me. Thanks, schmuck. And then Wyrmbader kills himself, and then Mara the Scream is about to head home, only for her to be... We did actually bring this up in the Australia episode, Kyle.
We did not.
Mara the Scream got hers from the Naga.
Oh, yeah, from the fucking Farah assassins.
Yeah, that fucking snakes killed her.
That's the longest-winded version of a dingo ate my baby I've ever heard.
Yeah.
It is.
And it was a plot that was so dumb, it could only work on the Red Talons, and sure enough, it did. Behold.
I find it amazing because this one of the books, I forget which one, highlights that for all that the Red Talons and Shadow Lords are they are lower than them. So even by White Wolf standards, if you liked both of those tribes the most, you are the foot fetishist of the tribal world, according to their own margins.
Because after all, the Shadow Lords were supposed to fall to the worm in canon. And then the Red Talons have always been the token evil tribe amongst the playable tribes.
Well, the only reason that they stayed around is literally because of the audience base. Not because it's popular, but because of the devoted amount of people that are like, no, the Red I've said before on videos, I don't like the Red Talons. Some of it's the player base. I just find them annoying and stupid.
I just like it because it's a truly alien mindset you get to go into.
I will say
no one goes that route though.
Well, we had Rap at our live play, and he did a fantastic job at leaves.
I will say this here as a Red Talon player. At a certain point, yeah, I can take it as lore thinks that, and at a certain point, I can just say, the writers shit on the Red Talons.
Would you rather the Red Talons 5th edition, where they're just the Lorax Wolf now?
Go fuck yourself.
I speak for their trees. Their trees have no tongues, and that's my new tribal identity now. And now all the teeth have been taken out of the Red Talons.
I'd rather they just, I don't know, join the pure tribes that they stole from Forsaken. Like, they just do the pure with them. Like, have them leave. Because they're fucked. I'm sorry. They're fucked.
And afterwards, it takes until 1940 for the Black Sparrows to finally realize that Pentex exists. They find out that the conspiracy exists, and they look over and they say, so you work for the worm, but from like a money angle? And they say, yeah, it's true. We work for the worm and we make money doing it. We have all these different shell companies and tax savings, and we're able to sell the worm through that to make money. You guys want to be a part of us? And 3 out of 4 Black Sparrows tell Pentex to go get fucked. But 1/4 says, oh, hold on a minute, you guys hiring? You guys have a job opening? Here's my resume. Here's all the conspiracies I've been a part of.
And they went, that's pretty good. Here, we'll put you on the payroll.
I found one of the funniest things ever. So this alliance began simply because of a bored Philadelphia sewage worker, because of course it's Philly.
Yeah.
The Philadelphia sewage plant dude, basically to survive, apparently went through a Reefer Madness style vision quest that culminates in him suffering a belated first change after falling into toxic waste and rampaging through a fucking cairn with a submachine gun and 4 guys.
Wow.
The Black Sparrows just asked, what the fuck was that?
That's fantastic.
Did it work? I don't know.
He fented out of his mind, and then now we have a whole alliance between Pentex and the Black Sparrow Dancers.
And this dude shows up to Pentex, and his application to join was just the dead werewolves he collected.
No, it was the ears of 22 werewolves he'd killed. He literally did like a bunch of fucking shrooms while on a hunting trip with his friends.
Don't that be said that the drugs don't give you superpowers.
But by the way, his entire dream is to cover the eastern U.S. in toxic waste.
He was listening to Raining Blood by Slayer, and he thought, what if I did that, but with toxic waste, like literally from the Toxic Avenger?
I'm sorry, but I'm just envisioning him looking like Danny DeVito as the trash man now.
To be fair, that's a very accurate thing.
I throw trash all over the ring.
I throw trash all over the U.S. My dream is to ensure that everyone drowns in garbage.
Now, the moral of the story is that you need to start doing drugs. There's a little more behind this.
Well, no, they kill a bunch of ecstatics and like the.
No, it wasn't.
That was actually Mr. Losser, who is also known as Walks in Sewage. That was Mr. Walks in Sewage. He's threatening to sue us using Pentex's money.
He's
fuck, they don't got no money.
One of those litigates. He's one of those.
No, he's threatening to bury us in literal legal garbage.
Yes. I'm gonna waste so much fucking paper in this lawsuit.
Put out so much paper it just buries you in it. Now, but before we go into the rest of the shit in second edition, now you notice that second edition doesn't really tell you how you're supposed to play a BSD. First edition does. So let me just go ahead and swap books again. Pull up
what does first edition say?
Alright. First edition says playing Black Sword Dancer beliefs. Now, what most BSDs go into is that the world's big turd, life's a joke, and we're going to add on to a joke by killing as many people as possible, or causing just as much misery as possible. Tends to be the mindset with the BSDs. You're here to just make life worse for everybody, is what most BSDs go for. However,
it's literal joker maxing.
There is the usual insightful BSD that says, well, you're the hero of the story. The story needs a villain, doesn't it? I guess I'll be the villain for you. After all, the worm needs love too. Snake's got to eat, you know. You're not going to have a war to fight if there is nobody for you to fight. So let me become evil because as in order to fill out this yin and yang obligation. And
it's not a bad idea. Another fun one that I think is interesting is you're literally defending the avatars of change and stasis. You're going to kill the world in cancer.
Yep.
That you don't realize that you're empowering the Weaver in what you're doing. So you have BSDs that wish they could have come into contact with the Balance Worm, but made do with a Tyrannic Worm and are trying to do the worm's part where the worm is too insane and fails.
That's I will say this here. That's my favorite way to view the Black Spiral Dancers. They are basically similar to the Guru, but instead of making sure to protect the Gaia, they're just warriors of the worm. That's how they view it. And
sadly, they do not know that the Hatar Ananasi exists, who are doing the job better than them.
Hatar are bitches.
But they're bitches, but they don't lose control of themselves that the BSDs do.
The BSDs are still werewolves, despite everything.
The BSDs go, there's a certain kind of rhythm to this thing. I show up, I cause trouble. He shows up, we have a few laughs, and the game starts all over again.
I mean, and to be fair, unlike the were spiders, they actually have emotions.
Yeah.
Another interesting idea you could do is go, what happened the last time the war was won? The werewolf pauses. The Uktena, Wendigo, and Croatan. What did they do afterwards?
Nothing. Everything was
Absolutely
peaceful.
Goddamn nothing.
Allegedly. I bet they went fucking insane with nothing to do.
Well, here's the thing, is that, like, you know, the Wendigo already do nothing, continue to do nothing, will never do nothing until the end of goddamn time.
Oh, no, I assure you
the Wendigo, they do
something.
fucking nothing.
Oh, I assure you, they all did something. Do you want to know why I can say that?
Why is that?
The theory.
So, interesting fact. Did you know that in North America, even before smallpox, the tribes were going through the equivalent of a post-apocalypse?
Really?
Yes.
So,
no, I didn't know
Cahokia and several other Mississippian cultures essentially went through a food crisis and collapse because the growth of corn destroyed the soil integrity. Combine that with the Little Ice Age, which caused a mega drought, and their societies collapsed because they couldn't sustain their nutrition. This is why the Aztecs moved south, for example.
So,
and also, the Inca, they themselves were a post-apocalypse because they took over from a more advanced tribe known as Tiwanaku, who actually had limited mastery of bronze. So if you think about it, if you have no war to fight, who do you turn on?
You fight each other.
Or your kinfolk to prevent them from building too much.
And after all, how many bloodborne diseases spread out with amongst the Aztecs because they didn't fucking wash their hands after a human sacrifice?
So think about it
Look
like
here,
this:
we can talk
with
about the
nothing to
Aztec
fight,
Empire.
with nothing to fight, other than maybe some Bali vampires.
I will
What is
hold
there
on
to
here.
do?
So what you're telling me, and to clarify for all the fuckers across history, so you're telling me just because Europeans didn't show up now doesn't mean it was a peaceful land before Europeans showed up?
Oh hell no!
no.
Hell
Absolutely
no!
not in a
But
million
doesn't
years.
it make sense that with nothing else to fight, they could then continue the Impergium and War of Rage once more? Because they have nothing to fight. They have no purpose.
I mean, that's the reason why the Geofemers don't solve Apocalypse, because what's the Geofemers, their identity going to be if there is no threat of Apocalypse? Which
I
is
think
something that the
something
tribe
like that.
knows.
This is my crazy tinfoil idea, but that could be something you could play with the Pure Land tribes, the New World tribes.
Mm-hmm.
That
Is
the
that
reason they fell was they fell to infighting because they still have this need to fight, but they have nothing to fight. What do you do?
And the strong implication is that Great Actina's goal is to replace the worm where the worm has failed. Essentially becoming the fourth face of the worm. This is the ultimate plot here. And with the BSDs in terms of demographics, by the way, how do you become a BSD, by the way? You gotta do a dance, right?
You dance the spiral. It is a rite by the Black Spirals.
A good example of that is just show the Joker dancing down the set of stairs from the first movie.
Basically,
you get the Joker Max.
Legitimately, in this case, yes.
And that dance can either last an actual hour or 5 minutes, depending on how many successes you rolled on that right roll.
Oh, speaking of which, in the first edition book on page 19, that is a retraced Wolverine. That is a completely traced Wolverine. And on page 16 in first edition, that is a Junji Ito Uzumaki issue 1, chapter 1 drawing.
Licking his forehead.
The tongue, yes.
Yeah, I recognize that. I was reading Junji Ito stuff before this episode started.
Were you actually?
Yeah. Uzumaki is a pretty good read, Kyle.
He has like Stephen King, he struggles in endings in my experience, but Uzumaki is one of the few ones that it kind of works.
I was going to say Gyo is probably his best story, but
it's okay.
And when it comes to BSD demographics, most of these guys that they're recruiting are Hamids, as in 90% of BSDs you encounter a Hamid. That number has kind of adjusted since, because a lot of metas tend to form into BSDs or are driven to despair by the ostracism of other tribes.
Or alternatively, they're just a product because fuck the litanies, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
to be like, hey, that chick over there looks good. Yeah, there you go.
Like in the mad plot with Yuri Konietzko's rise to power into the year 2000, the abuse towards metas has subsided a little bit, so there's not as much of a menace issue joining the BSDs. Lupus joining the Black Spells, that's probably like a whole 2%.
And and to clarify for the audience here, you don't have to be born a Black Spiral to join the Black Spirals.
No. Yeah, you have to do the dance. You have to sign your name on the contract to be BSD.
What I mean by that is occasionally, it doesn't happen often. Occasionally, other people will fall to the worm and join the Black Spirals.
Yeah, because
similar to the call.
Yeah, not every Wyrmish Werewolf is a BSD, but every BSD is Wyrmish Werewolf. To explain.
Whoa, yeah.
Because you have the Wicked Stepmothers with the Black Spell Dancers. You have I'm forgetting what their name is, but they're the flesh-eating Bonars. You have the Bitter Hex with the Silent Shredders. And then you have a group of Uktena that willingly work with Black Spell Dancers just to commit racial hate crimes in their book. And then you have everything involving the Shadow Lords with the Mask and the Society of Needhog, which are two different camps in the Shadow Lords that are directly aiding both the Nettuku and the Los Sombras Amici Noctis, respectively. So not every wolf that falls necessarily needs to be a BSD.
Certainly not.
Also, if you do the Black Spiral, odds are very likely you'll go kind of insane. Some are strong enough to withstand it. Most aren't. Some go completely insane and just they're fodder.
It's a dance where it feels like your soul's on fire, and that's because it kind of is. You're signing a contract with the worm through your body, and the worm will do whatever it feels like to you, to the point where you are left completely exhausted and broken by the time the dance is done. And whatever, like, the first sound you make as air escapes your lungs when you rise up from that ritual is what your new name becomes to the worm. In case you're wondering, Kyle, you've asked me this before, why do so many BSDs have silly ass names?
Yes.
That's why. Because
So
after all,
if you ever have problems coming up with a name, just keyboard mash randomly. That's your Black Spiral dancer name.
Wait, hold on. I got a Black Spiral name right now. Ooh.
That's,
yeah. Shark bait. Ooh, ha, ha.
Hey, Kyle, in case you're wondering,
it's just noises.
the recurring BSD character I use in my games, Hanuin,
Yep.
that was a AI fuck up when I was originally generating his picture.
So it was a Weaver generated worm name.
I looked at that and I thought to myself, wait, hold on a minute. Let's actually use that. And so I picked it up and I made that his name.
I don't know. For me, I didn't know that. And then I made Matt Grinder, aka Meat Grinder. So I imagine he was like at the back end of the dance and went, what a fucking, he stepped out of mouthpiece and went, Meat Grinder. And they went, yeah, all right.
That's the name.
Oh no, I was envisioning like what happened instead was he said his name slurred like Matt Damon from Team America.
Yep.
So, new initiate, what's your thoughts? Matt, your Meat Grinder.
Basically.
And he can only say his boss.
What is your name, Spiral? Meat Grinder. What?
You've got
Meat Grinder.
You've got
I have a Black Spiral name right here. Heish. My name is Heish.
You've got BSD names like Azaera, Baru, Bidlart, Parupt, Jack, Ilap Yuri, Zyjak, for example.
Yep, Gavaltz is the one from
worse. As long as
Power.
you make a noise. As long as you make a noise, at least you have a name that's not shit's pants.
That's true. You don't come up with one; they come up with one for you.
If the arrow escapes your asshole, does that become your name?
Oh,
no,
God.
you said you said the mouth. Don't start.
You just called he who braps.
Yeah,
That's disgusting.
Ass flapper.
And if seeing as we're actually talking about the tribe as a whole, let's.
Well, you also got to pick which head of the Hydra did you get your information from? Did you get it from the Conqueror? Did you get it from the Deceiver? Did you get it from the Corruptor? Which one did you get?
Is Green? Let's talk about pits for a minute.
Sure, let's talk about pits. Oh,
it is. So we have a sept and a cairn with werewolves. Here it's a hive and a pit.
Yeah, fewer in number, but far more hard to get rid of.
A pit's a cairn, and it's a cairn that just sucks because it's filled with banes and other evil shit. Now, First Edition says you can't have civilized banes because you can have like a pool table or a TV in the room, but like the pool table's always rigged. The pool cue always like knocks the 8-ball in first. The TV shows you weird propaganda that you weren't really looking for. Everything's just twisted inside of a pit. A hive is even worse because that's their seps.
For some reason, here the cartoons that I always show to my kid are not meant for kids.
You're filled, and what's this place smell like, by the way? Well, it smells like STDP whenever you go into a hive.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
It's absolutely nasty because you only have a maid down here, do you?
No, the version. I'm gonna be real here. If they would have a version of a maid, it would look something like a garbage eater.
Yeah. Where when it comes to Black Spiral Dancer, hives and pits. You remember the space station in Russia?
Yeah, from Armageddon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's a whole low orbit space station, a little satellite that may or may not have a small laser gun in it that the BSDs have in Russia. As for how it manages to stay perfectly in place right above Russia, magic, bitch.
Basically.
Wait, hold on. That's actually a thing. I just thought you just pulled that out of your ass for that Russian.
No, that's real.
That's actually a thing. Oh, fuck.
Yeah, it's real.
It's one of the goofier things they came up with, but fair enough.
There's also
To be
in
fair-
Kieran's Place of Power, like the giant worm that is itself a pit, and you just live inside of the worm.
Oh yeah, if I remember correctly here, I think it's called Grandmother Thunder, the biggest
The Deceptive Grandmother or something along the lines of that.
yeah, the Septa grandmother. I forget this her. She is the biggest thunderworm. And thunderworms are pretty fucking big.
Oh yeah, and me and Kyle went over that in the Kieran's Place of Power episode.
Yes.
Kyle, you went over that one. You know what's in it.
Yes, it's a giant fucking worm creature that lives in basically the blast point of the Trinity atomic bomb, known as Grandma.
And after all, and like Zizek is just chilling out in it.
Well, Jizak, Gavalt, and like 2 other black spirals, and one of them is just a useless fat fuck that sleeps all day until they need to open a moon bridge.
Hold on, if you couldn't tell from how we're describing this, every hive or pit is a hive mind of fucking worms and veins, and makes them really hard to get rid of the black spirals because of it.
Yes.
There's one in Ridge Coast, Amazon. I'm trying to remember the name of.
I think it's still forming because last time I checked plot wise, they're still fighting over the Amazon.
And Eli, the guy that runs the place, is a fucking fraud, and that's what he's known for. I forget the name of the place, but essentially it's like this burning hellhole where you just go in there and it's just like absolutely filled with veins and pollution, and it smells like shit, and it looks like shit because it is shit. This kind of environment you're expecting.
Yeah, I don't remember the pit names at all.
Yeah,
I can't think of it now.
Then you have the famous hell pit that's under Mexico City.
I mean, that's interesting because it's a combination of many factors.
Mm-hmm. One of them by Mexico being a country.
Really?
Who'd have thought that? Who'd have thought that being on the capital of an infernalist cult built on top by the Sabbat, who rapidly began evil maxing, built upon by the technocracy, which in first edition were evil maxers.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm going to be real here. I am not trying to throw shade, but legitimately, the Mexican government is controlled by
corrupt as shit.
No.
Absolutely.
In fairness, this is 90s Mexico, which is at the time, not early 90s Mexico. Not only was cartel violence getting worse, but this is literally a few years after the day the system crashed, where they had to rig the election in order to ensure that they stayed winning.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is a much worse Mexico. This is also Mexico right when the peso was exploding.
Mm-hmm.
And to be fair here, to be generous here, it has gotten better since, but not that great.
See, in
the main city, yeah, but not outside of the main city and main tourist spots. Fuck no, it's actually worse in some respects.
Now you've got Banes in these totems, so what exactly does your relationship with these Banes look like as a BSD? Most of the ones that you come across are Banes of Corruption, which you already are, so you tend to have a more communal agreement with these kind of guys, where most of them tend to just be NPCs where they say, hey, take me over there and attach me to that person. Take me over to that land and throw me into the ground and start corrupting it. And they usually just want you to get them to do stuff for you, as most spirits do, so they can increase their own rating.
Floats towards you. Hey, want to do heroin with us?
You want to do heroin? Come on, buddy.
Y'all boys ever heard of the word fuck?
Dude, like, hold on. I can just imagine this here as a bane of defilement. Like, hey, take me to that fucking child center. Do it. Take me there.
Probably shouldn't say that, given that, like I mentioned, this book has some disturbing implications for the Métis the moment that they.
I'm fully aware.
We'll get to that.
I'm fully aware that I hinted at it, but I just simply use that as an example of.
Also, second edition opens up with them literally beginning rape.
To be fair here,
we might as well bring up the plot point now. Kyle, if you have 2 BSDs to have a kid, how exactly does education for that kid go?
How does the what?
Education for the kid go.
So basically, you're raised in a pit with about a dozen or so other bastards, all from the same group of inbred black spiral dancers, who all fight and bicker with each other until, a couple of them die from being mistreated. And then one of them, shows up, and then the den mother basically goes, hey, you're going to make a great warrior one day. The rest of you are cannon fodder, but you, in particular, here, come over here. And so they take him over to the center of the cairn. They introduce him to the totem of that cairn, either Green Dragon or Whippoorwill or whatever that fat fuck one was that I forget about.
And none of them are good.
No, and they basically go, hey, You got something that those other ones don't. You're going to be useful. Okay. Do this right. We're going to possess you, and we're going to fuck up your body in insurmountably terrible ways, but you're also going to be lethally powerful. And that's basically how Black Spiral works.
And they also tell you, we have a weapon that is more dangerous than anything else. If you're a woman, it's your pussy. If you're a man, it's your penis. We're going to teach you how to use it as a weapon firsthand.
This is one of the reasons, to be very honest here, and one of the reasons why the Black Sparrow's numbers are relatively good. They don't care about the consent.
Sexual
They
abuse
really do
and
not.
sexual violence is very frequent amongst the BSDs and even amongst each other.
Yeah, you can say a lot about the Great Hole of the Guru, but they typically, mostly, like 99% of the time, seek consent. And not
You will
just
not find any sort of like wolves in the Garo Nation referring to themselves as pedos. You don't get that. BSDs,
Reminder
that's
that
not a
these
thing.
guys are the ones they're trying to redeem in fucking Werewolf 5th.
Yeah.
Renegade
No.
Studios, what did you mean by this?
There it is. The left loves this kind of shit, you know.
No, I will be honest here. Do you honestly expect them to read one of the earlier books at all?
By the way, the point of view character for 2nd edition for the rape story, yeah, that's the one they're trying hardest to redeem because she happens to have a vag.
Where once again,
no.
Viking World 5th edition is trash, and it always will be.
I just need to point it out because this is stupid.
I'm going to be real with you here. The Black Sparrows or bastards.
You're not supposed to like these guys like in that
They're
way.
not. They're
One of the
You
funniest
love to
things-
hate them.
One of the funniest things is the newer books actually say they're more redeemable than the Get are at this point.
Well, bullshit.
Yeah, it's all a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah,
You can say a lot
you're telling me that
about
the World 5e writers are so blinded by the made-up idea of fascism that they're willing to work with actual pedophiles to fight it.
Yeah, it's
What
bullshit.
do you mean they're willing to? They already do that.
Yeah, but by the way, W. DeCollo Rittenhouse, congratulations on getting married, dude.
But
What?
regardless here,
How did that come
Black
up?
Sparrow dancers.
But well, it's because that's his claim to fame is that he killed 2 pedos.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I thought his
okay,
claim
yeah,
to
good
fame
job.
was he shot 2 BSDs.
Yeah, that's it.
I will
Bullet.
hold on.
Uh,
To give the Black Sparrow dancers one moment, a glimpse of goodness, it's rarely, but every 100 or once every decade or so, an actual White Howler is born amongst them.
Yeah, like a normal
killed
white howler.
instantly.
And he killed instantly, yeah.
Most are, yes. But
back to Banes. Your second type of Bane is the Cunning Bane. Now, this has the opportunity to be your main antagonist, because a naive BSD will just listen and go along with whatever the Cunning Bane says, not realizing that the Bane is only serving his own interest. And of course, that BSD is a fucking schmuck, he's a mark who gets taken for a ride and then quickly abandoned by the Bane when he gets what he wants. However, if you have
the
a
worm
smart...
eats its own.
If
The
you have
thing
a
is,
smart...
Hydra bites everything, including itself. That's a big theme with the worm.
If you have a smart senior member of the BSDs, then you're having 2 group parties start working with each other while secretly trying to stab each other in the back. Or they might end up having mutual respect for each other in their own cunning. There might actually be some sort of like master-student relationship here, where the student will eventually pass the master after he learns how to be more and more devious from the cunning worm, and eventually becomes the main villain of your campaign. These are the kind of villains I like.
Interesting thing you can do to fuck with players' minds if you're doing a Werewolf
Mhm.
Chronicle. They mentioned a little bit of this in 2nd edition Book of the Worm. You could have like a pack of Black Spiral Dancers storm and kill a Pentex operation.
Mm-hmm.
And
just
it would make perfect
operation
sense
over.
as long as you explain it. Well, not even to take it over. It was legitimately to spite another pack because they were backed by that group.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, hold on. Bringing up Pentex. One of the executives, I think that's the leaders of Pentex, is right.
Yeah.
One of the executives, the executive of security, is a Black Spiral in his pack.
Well, I mean, at one point, one of the executives was Giovanni.
And then I guess Giovanni called and said, "Hey, where's my son?"
Hold on. Let me see if I can get an image of the guy that actually is one of the executives. Let me continue. Let me just grab this image.
Remember to crop a screenshot.
I'll crop it.
And then you have the Banes of Strength, which are directly spun off of the Calamity Worm. And these guys just want you to go out, fight, kill, crush, destroy, maim, burn, pillage, all that kind of violent shit.
In fairness, that's not much different from a particularly stupidly run pack of Guru.
Which is most of them.
Yeah.
In canon, yeah. As for the Dance of the Black Spiral, we've already talked about that before. Okay, first edition, what else do you have for us? The Rite of Transmogrification. Can you be pretty as a BSD?
No.
You can,
maybe.
but well, you can, but other BSDs don't want you to be pretty.
Yes.
So we have an entire right here that makes you look like shit. Incredible.
Yeah, good job.
Wait,
You
hold
are
on.
chosen to re-enter the mouth of the worm. If you are given this opportunity, it gains you more understanding of the cosmos.
At the expense of you being chewed up like bubblegum.
So basically, from my understanding, is you look like an ugly bitch, but afterwards you gain cosmic awareness of entropy.
But behold, I allowed myself to be chewed up and spat out, and now I'm smarter because of it. I learned not to do that again.
That does sound like, hear me out here. That does sound like a Black Spiral's Theurge that went through that process.
It's a power of self-mutilation. That's the whole scheme here.
Basically.
You also have the creeds of power, cunning, and infamy. By the way, which are there are three versions of the renown. Power, which is how much damage did you cause. Cunning, which is how devious were you in causing your destruction. And infamy, as in how many people hate you because of what you did.
Also, the fun thing about the ritual of transmogrification, essentially, the first Black Spiral dance you did, that's just to spiritually break you. No. It's not chewed up by the worm. You dance the real spiral, the ones that the Howlers went down.
There's a lore character.
Wait.
Allegedly.
Yeah. No, I was just going to bring this up before you continue. Yeah. This is also one of the bigger reasons why the Black Spirals are reliably can get high in their ranking, because they don't have to do the honorable ways to gain their power. They do the cheap and dirty ways to gain their power.
Yeah, if you can do at least to your rank and then one more, you gain a rank free. It's not really free, because if you fail,
like no. Here,
for example, here,
I could be a basic bitch werewolf. I went through the process. I'm a basic bitch Black Spiral. How do I gain infamy, power, and dark cunning? Simple. I become an abuser. Boom, I gain cunning. I bully people. Boom, I gain power.
And in this dance, by the way, Kyle, there's only one wolf who's managed to dance this dance dance begin to end. That is Mokma, is his name.
Yeah.
And what's your reward for completing the dance, Kyle? The fucking consumption worm jumps up and eats you. That's your prize.
Basically.
Yeah. You play stupid games doing stupid prizes, Kyle.
Fun way, if you want to do the Black Spiral dance, is you probably should base each of the challenge on the 9 levels, which are based on, because of total creativity. It's literally based on the 9 circles of hell from Dante's Divine Comedy, Inferno.
You have 9 rings you need to climb up, Kyle.
Yes.
See if I might go through these with you. The first one, Dance of Insight. You basically get this is you taking the black pill and seeing the world for the way it is.
Yep.
Is what it boils down to being. Dance of Rage, second circle, which is you admonishing that rage. As it turns out, I had a conversation with Mike Lawson in the server about a few days ago. I think it was Friday, where I brought up the whole rage comes to the worm, and he said, "I don't remember what that comes from. Can you pull up a page for me?" And I realized that it was not in any of the core books. It was in the Stargazer's book that it came from.
Really?
Where it boils down to how much you take the Stargazer seriously, depends on how much you want to consider it to be canon. He does not the Stargazer, so he writes it off, but, the World of Darkness is basically subjective by this point. But here's another little source that soft confirms that, yes, Rage is wormish in nature. It is Luna's power that she grants to all for changing breeds, but Luna had to get that power from somewhere, didn't she?
Yes, she did.
And that's what the second dance is. You recognize that rage is one of the greatest assets of the worm. You must use it for the worm from this point forward. The third circle, Dance of Endurance. If you're going to be a good Satanist, so to speak, if you're going to be a good follower of the Demiurge, you need to be able to endure both physical anguish and mental anguish. If we can put you through the worst suffering possible, then you're going to be a good servant. Fourth circle, Dance of Cunning. You also have to be smart. You need to rise above the Fomori. The Fomori we could just throw at people, and they're basic foot soldiers. We don't expect them to last very long. But you're a black spiral dancer. You need to be better than that. You need to be smarter than that. Because there's going to be cases where your intelligence is more useful than your strength.
A twisted sort of sense, if you could actually argue that this black spiral is a fucked up way of achieving chim.
Mm-hmm. It is.
Because, no, think about it. Chim is a concept from Elder Scrolls. It's also related to Glorantha's illumination.
Yes.
Where you essentially get a new perspective on the world logic. In Glorantha, magic, you're governed by the laws of the runes. Magic is prevalent, and the gods and god time are relevant to you. Illumination is your realization of the rule sets of the reality. For example, to create, sometimes you do need to use the destructive force of chaos to destroy and implant. But here's the thing. This awareness of good and evil allows you to decide based on this.
Therefore, you have the entire plot of Morrowind.
Yeah.
So
Also,
the dance of insight is you realizing rage is an innately destructive. What you do with it is what matters.
Yeah,
The
guns don't
black
kill people,
spirals
people kill people.
corrupt that by focusing on pure destruction.
Yeah. Also, I found the guy's image. Here it is.
All right, post in studio notes.
I put it in studio notes, and his name is he's chief of Pentex Security, and his name is Mike Dragonwrath.
That's me.
Mike Dragonwrath.
That
does actually look like Johnny. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Johnny was actually a part of Pentex this whole time. This whole thing's been
alive.
I
got all the stock.
He looks like an atheist YouTuber. He looked like the type of dude who would just stare into the camera and smugly denounce Christianity while saying nothing about it.
No, dude. It's John Romero without glasses on. It's actually John Romero. Hold up. Hang on. Hold up.
It kind of reminds me of Aaron Raw, actually.
Look,
it's
John Romero.
There he is.
No.
I made Doom.
He did actual name, Doom. Mike. That is his actual name in the sheet. Mike Dragon's Wrath.
Oh, there we go. Take a wild guess what film he follows.
No, I'm not even kidding. He looked like Aaron Raw. Like a less fat version of him, to be sure.
Right.
But
as you get the picture, I'll name off what the fifth circle is: the dance of combat. While you're doing this last dance, we're going to jump you in the middle of your dance. There he is, put him up on screen. We're going to jump in the middle of this dance. We're going to jump in the middle of this dance with all these different Banes are going to try to interrupt you. Do not let the Banes interrupt your dance because you're going to fuck up the ritual if you do that. We need to make sure that under duress and extreme situations, you're going to do what the hero would do the best and fight off your enemies. Even when you have a secondary task going on.
Yeah, to be fair, you can see a lot by the Guru, but they do put up a scrapping.
Now
and once you're able to do that, you can now finally get to the last 3 mysteries before you get just eaten alive. Eaten alive or become what's the term?
A totem.
Malgian?
Yeah, Malgian Incarna.
Malgian Incarna.
The next 4 you don't have to do as part of your ritual, but you can if you want to. Dance number 6 is Dance of Corruption. AKA, if you're going this far, you're giving your entire life over to the worm. You've already signed your name on the contract. Now it's going to fully take over your soul. This is
not only that, but you destroy your own identity.
You're no longer yourself. You're an agent of the worm. You no longer believe in what's best for you. You're doing what's best for the worm from this point forward. That you then confirm this again with Dance of Loyalty, where you've come to accept your new lack of identity, and you've now fully signed over everything possible to the worm, including your own desire to break away from the worm and become your own individual again. Even if you fully signed over to the worm, there's still a black spell dancer that will occasionally think to himself, I made a mistake. This is you erasing that part of yourself. And then the 8th circle is the Dance of Paradox, where you enter your Enigma test. You acknowledge that you are following the triad. This is not the balance worm you're following. You've done this all for the balance worm, and you have no intention of bringing the balance worm back. This is all for the triad that you're doing this for, which is paradoxical. It doesn't make sense that you're doing this because it's a false god you're following, but you're going to send your will over to the false god anyway.
Yeah. Basically, the kids locked you're obeying the kid.
Yeah. And then the last one is the Dance of Deceit. If you finish this kills you. Where
Because
what
you have
this
to fight
is,
the fucking worm.
where what it is that you get to fight the worm, and you come to the conclusion that the worm lied to you, and you knew this, and you did all this anyway. Who's the mark here? And then the worm kills you for doing that.
Alternatively, the other hypothesis is to defeat the worm, you must become the worm, which, to roll back into the concept of illumination from Glorantha, this is similar to the concept of Gibaji, the deceiver. Basically, the concept of Gibaji, or lies, is a chaotic figure that is essentially deceit in reality itself. It's most associated with the Lord of Light, Nicelor.
Right.
But here's the thing. The guy who defeated him, Arcat, in some ways has to transcend to his level of lies, deceit, and cruelty. To defeat Gibaji, you have to become it, because that allows you to know what his lies are.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, to defeat the worm, you have to essentially go through what he did, aka get trapped screaming in an eternal nightmare. If you think about it, the Black Spiral is almost like a catabasis, a descent to the underworld and up, to realize what it was like being trapped by the Weaver.
And only 2 Black Spiral dancers have done this, and both of them faced their deaths in doing this. And Kyle, if you remember, who has fought the worm and won, well, only one person has done it in lore. Set.
Yep, and that's how he became Set in the first place.
And
yes,
degenerates, because he's. I can't
King,
stop
you're
that.
You're roboting out a lot. You're clipping out a bit.
Finally bugging out. He's finally
lost
him.
I'm bugging out. I'm
Wait,
bugging out.
wait, hold on.
I'm bugging out.
At all.
Right.
I'll come back real quick.
All right, we now go into the Dark Litany, Kyle. Kyle, do you want to go over Dark Litany, or do you want me to go over it?
I can go over it if I can figure out where the hell I put it in the book.
Page 94 in 2nd edition.
Gotcha.
Yeah, there's a lot
that
goes around.
All right.
For whatever reason, I don't have metal collector. Anyway, the Dark Litany, not all that different from the Garrow
You're not on the
Litany.
page. You're not on the book, are you?
Yeah, I'm on the book. I got it right here.
Zoom the fuck in. You're showing off your links.
My links?
Yeah, your URL link.
What URL link?
Yes, your search bar is not in the whole thing. We don't want people knowing.
I'm not putting that up on screen. I'm just reading the book on the other screen.
I got it. All right, continue.
Okay, so anyhow, first, serve the worm in all its forms. A perversion of serve Gaia in all her forms. The 13 tribes continually at war with each other, but the forces of the worm must be stronger. This mandate enforces tribes' unity, allowing their alliances with Pentex and the Sabbat to flourish. Service to the worm is more important than any sort of philosophical debate. Following that, beware the territory of another. That is a perversion of respect the territory of other tribes. It allows separate hives to maintain separate territories. Wolves, typically in nature, are going to be very territorial creatures. Black spirals, though demented, are no different. Competition for land is usually not a problem, since most hives are created from distant Garrow Cairns or corrupting them however they may. The law of transmogrify, instead of submitting to hours of messy oh wait, hang on. Yeah, this page is weird. It goes straight down past this middle section. This law also applies to black spirals from different hives, encountering each other within the tunnels of the underworld. A black spiral may travel through the tunnels of another hive as long as they don't endanger it.
To clarify, here, this is my crack corner. Go away.
It was many times as the worm bites its own heads. The reason why we're using the word beware here is because if you walk into another BSD's territory, they're probably going to kill you.
More than likely,
just for amusement.
Then there's the veil that shall not be lifted.
Well,
what do you mean the veil?
First, there's slay those who will not join you.
Oh yes, that, and then respect all those who serve the worm.
Yeah. So the only thing that I have to note about slay those who will not join you, there is one exception to that rule, and he is the fallen glasswalker that runs Tellus. For some reason, the Black Spirals have tried to convince Doc to join several times, but he has not. Because
he knows what's going to happen to him.
Exactly. He knows what's going to happen to him. I feel like the only reason he hasn't is because he's too important to Pentex already, and those that, try to get him to go are also under Pentex's payroll. So
Right.
kind of
He's
stuck
too valuable
on
to the
that.
company.
So it's weird. He's using the worm to save his own ass. Doc's an interesting character. Go ahead and watch our Pentex videos, and you'll learn about Doc.
In fairness, it's a similar concept to why Cockroach is trying to support the Samsa.
Yes. There's something in for him.
Respect all those who serve the worm. Pretty simple, allows hives to consider ideas advanced by humans within Pentex and Sabat. Though they may choose to disregard the veil or extol the use of technology, as long as you're serving the worm, it doesn't matter. They also accord a modicum of respect of Garrow, who are on the long, dark path towards corruption. If they think that, say, like a Shadow Lord cultist or an Actena who's been sticking around Banes for too long, might have a chance of walking, they'll more than likely leave them alone. Next, the veil shall not be lifted. It's upheld by pretty much all supernatural creatures because they're all trying to influence human society in one way or another.
Also, because in a straight-up fight, they'd lose. Yeah, I'd fuck over humanity pretty much permanently, but I think they would still lose at the end.
You will die in the face of the Technocratic Union.
Oh, yeah, basically, it's like, hey, everybody, I'm here to corrupt, and then a number of guns just, like, sound. I really wish more movies did that. I'm gonna be just to divert. I really wish there was more of like a scene where somebody busts in, and then you just hear 50 guns all clicking, and the camera.
Well, to be fair, here that only works in America. But then again, most of this stuff takes place in America.
Yeah,
One of the funnier Darwin awards I've heard about was a dude who legitimately tried to rob a gun store.
Yes, I have heard about that, and that was really funny.
The dude legitimately tried to rob the nearest store. It was a gun store. He was plugged by, I think, 5 customers and the owner.
I saw a video of some guy that tried to rob a convenience store in Brazil, and pretty much 4 different customers and the guy at the register all pulled out of guns and just laid him out in the store.
I love America so much.
That was
one of the more funny cursed moments, though, I think, is the person who did the knifed maniac prank. His last words were, "It's just a prank, bro," as he gets shot.
Honestly deserved. 100% deserved.
Yeah.
Do stupid shit like that.
But I muted when I said this here. Yeah, no Splat agrees and want to go full board with humanity. It's just mutually assured destruction. It helps no one.
Again, and otherwise you'd be running a Shadowrun game.
Because after all, the Follow Worm is looking for control.
Yeah, hard to control.
No, it depends on the heads, because the worms, the heads of the triadic worms and the Urge worms
playing Calamity can't think. Calamity doesn't have 2 brain cells to rub together.
No, I would be honest here. The Calamity and the Destruction Worm would definitely prefer all-out war. They would probably sweep after that.
Yeah, because the one that's running the show is Defiler. Consumption is outside reality, and Calamity is still here, but Calamity can't really form a machination because he is Calamity.
The closest he got was World War II, and that's it.
He came. No, he came close a couple times, because there was the Cuban Missile Crisis, and then there was the Able Archer exercises in 1983.
The closest he ever came was chopping on Yggdrasil when time began, and he still failed doing that.
Yeah, that was yeah.
Yep. So
wait, I thought that was a Beast of War that did that one.
Yeah, the Calamity.
That
was a Calamity Worm.
Oh.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
Beast of War is Calamity. Eater of Souls is Consumption. I forgot the name for
Defiler's Defiler.
Defiler's just Defiler.
Defiler.
Do not suffer thy people to tend thy sickness. That remains basically completely unchanged. Although
if you're holding back, just go ahead and die.
Yeah, it does take a slightly more, devious turn in this regard. A weak cub, you shouldn't poison the gene pool. You should kill it. A weak elder is a liability. Destroy them. Some black spirals are so insane that they actually pose a threat to the security of the hive, and in which case they're either made Ronin or torn apart and sacrificed.
Wait, I never heard of a black spiral Ronin before.
I don't know, but common. I do like the idea that that's something that could happen. I think that's interesting.
You were unlikable that the BSDs hit you out.
Actually, I think I remember. I don't know if this was a weird fucking character concept or an actual character. I think there was. I'm hallucinating probably. I think there was a BSD that went rogue, essentially Ronin, and got decorrupted because of the pits of Erebus, which is this fountain of liquid silver that can
Yeah, the
purify
one in
corruption.
Egypt.
Remember
Yeah,
that
I know what you're
purged.
talking about. Oh yeah, to summarize here, any Black Sparrow can be saved long as they don't dance the Black Sparrow. They can be saved. And once they do, there's no going back from that.
Which is what I did for Trisha, is that she was born purebred Black Spiral, but never danced the Spiral.
Yes.
I always like the idea. Now, to be honest here, I probably would have to get to the right game for this one here, but I would like to play a Black Sparrow that hasn't walked the Black Sparrow yet.
I would love to play that game. Why? Because I love anti-heroes. So
you'd basically be Cubs though, because unless you're the product of Defiler-worm nonsense.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
In all reality here, it's that would be a long-term werewolf game, but that's for later.
Indeed.
What's that? A Ronin, K-Teef, and Hollow one game?
That
Oh
is
no.
weird. Anyhow.
Oh no.
It's all the rejects, all of them at once.
Very similar.
That sounds awful.
They'll be known as the All-American Rejects.
Yep.
That sounds awful.
Very similar to the standard Gara litany. Of course, the leader may be challenged at any time in peace. The scripture has remained intact since the White Howlers. If the leader cannot defeat his own followers, he has no right to lead. The leader shall not be challenged in a time of war. The Worm, again, must be united. The Black Spiral's chief advantage over the 13 tribes. Though arguing this point of the Dark Litany is difficult, as the tribe is almost always involved in some sort of conflict. So much like the Gara Litany, it's hard to discern peace from war in this.
It's the one bit of lore that allows you to stay in power forever.
Yes.
Yeah, the Black
It's a contradiction
Sparrows are
written by the Silverfangs for the Silverfangs that accidentally fucks up the whole thing.
Yes.
Yeah,
There are exceptions though. Nefandi or Vampire, they might sometimes lead a pack, but the moment they start fucking up, they're fair game because they're not Guru.
Yes.
Right.
And then
Also, I think we found out why the White Howlers fucking sucked. They probably had this as a special part of their culture, and that's what fucked them.
Yep, it's like we're always at war. Fuck it.
To use Europa Universalis logic, either 4 or 5. This is the dude who rolled straight zeros on all his fucking stats. That's why they.
This is why you had werewolves like Wormbaiter and Jacob Morningkill. This is the reason why the Gara Nation has been run into the ground for years and years.
Nobody thought to look that over, did they?
No.
No.
And then,
to be fair here, those scenarios, those people were very obviously abusing the rule set. It was technically not in the time of war, but they were still trying to pull that shit.
Yep. And then finally, ye shall take no action that causes a pit to be violated, the exact same as ye shall take no action that causes a cairn to be violated. You don't fuck with you don't shit where you eat.
Violated.
That's it. You don't shit where you eat. That's it.
Yeah. We want to be violated.
They want it to be violated though?
I know
by themselves, not by anybody else.
Yeah,
I'm just envisioning they show up to the pit. No, the garbage has been removed.
Who took all the barrels of toxic waste out of the fucking pit? Damn it!
Yeah. Hey, hold on. Is this oil? I wanted crude oil. I told you only base oil, you fuckheads.
No refined bullshit. We need crude, damn it.
Damn it, my inbred slave gladiator collection has been removed. How am I going to have blood sports to kill things now?
Before we go into relations, let's bring up what the camps look like, by the way.
They got camps?
Yeah, they got camps. I completely skipped over this in the original episode because I just did not give a fuck, and then I realized, well, that was probably a bad idea that I didn't do that.
Yes.
But, so here they are now. The first one you have... You know how you have the Modus Fundamentalist with the Fianna?
Oh, yeah.
This is their version of that. It is the, as we mentioned before, Cleed, where that was a name that you thought was going to go nowhere, didn't you? They have as direct descendants, or at least they believe they're the direct descendants of, the Cluthi. These are hyper-nationalist Scottish people. They're either people that are in Scottish that are very Scottish, or there are people from another country that claim Scottish heritage, and it doesn't really mean anything because they never, ever go back to their homeland. Though some of them do. Some of them will do that whole vacation to Glasgow and Edinburgh and realize what a fucking shithole they come from. These are people that really want to take back the ancestral homeland of Scotland. They are sending everybody possible to go and try to take this land back from the Fianna and the Gaffimus and the Surfangs. They're trying to keep them from this giant hole to hell. They want easy access to this hole to hell, so they can just jump right in and find out what other goodies the war might have to give them. But besides that, they follow a lot of Scottish stereotypes. Like they either know what they're talking about or they're posers. Your
most
mileage may
of them
vary
have
between
no
the two.
fucking clue. Most of them just watched. Most of them just watched the Mel Gibson Highlander movie.
And
where
that's
they're
what you're doing.
From this description, they sound like they beat their wives with patronage.
These are the people who show up reeking of BO and wearing fucking utility-kilts as they have crappy foam claymores.
These are full-blown Demo Man mains in TF2.
No.
Basically.
I can imagine this now. This is a man who says, I beat my wife with pride.
And next up is the genetic irregulars. You know how we have a lot of metis in the Garo Nation that have no place?
Well,
this is where they go.
Loud, boy.
If you cannot function at all as a metis, and you leave the Garo Nation, these people find you and convince you to sign up with them. These are guys who are almost all metis, who go through the rite that mangles their body for knowledge. And they're basically just a bunch of ugly as sin motherfuckers that are ugly on the inside and ugly on the outside.
Basically, they're an unholy combination of the Hills Have Eyes and Deliverance. Literally, the entire point of them is
feral inbred werewolves that live in the Appalachian Mountains and do terrible rituals.
And do buggery. They just do
fuck
buggery.
A lot of fucking.
Along with that, they're the most likely to capture people too, because they will prefer to drag you back to their homes and beat the beauty out of you instead of immediately killing you.
So you're telling me the stereotype of the hillbillies that will kidnap you and fucking stuff your cornhole are these guys?
Yes, and on top of that, this makes sense because most of the Appalachian regions are settled by Slowlander Scots and Scots-Irish.
Yes. These guys will Cleopatra you if they get the opportunity.
So straight up, what did they mean by this?
No.
Well, I live in this area. I can tell you what they mean.
No. Because this is like we're entering H.P. Lovecraft tier, like finding out you're 2% Scottish and having an emotional breakdown. What? Did one of the writers from White Wolf have a traumatic experience in Glasgow? Don't get me wrong, Glaswegians are horrifying, especially when they get into footy riots. But like, what the fuck?
Kyle, we gotta pull up Measurehead.
Wait, hold on, Adam. You're Scottish? I thought you were Irish.
I'm mostly Slavic.
I've been to Scotland, but I was there long before
tribe,
the EU existed. So
Kyle, put Measurehead up on screen.
I actually did get.
Okay. But
as you can see, Sandwich Man, your humble group of Scottish is completely cooked. You produce nothing in terms of good genetic material over the past 500 years.
See, I thought Measurehead was Slavic.
He is.
He's a black white supremacist. That's his character.
My name's Uncle Ruckus. Why Jesus bless you, Robin?
Deviated septum, wide eye selection.
See,
next up
is Generation Hex. These are guys who want to give you the black pill, and by any means necessary. They are nihilists that say that the world's going to burn out in a few million years, so there's no point in doing anything. Just contribute to the world by just laying in bed and closing your eyes and not waking up.
This has a lot in common with one of the Children of Gaia camps, by the way, to the point where you could argue that they're the same fucking camp.
Which camp?
It's the one that says the worm's just gonna win, man. So like, what's the point?
Oh, that sucks.
It is a camp.
I'm pulling this up as I speak. As I know what he's talking about.
It's one of the camps that's not very well liked, to the point where I think they tried to purge them.
Children of Gaia.
Anyhow.
They are called the Bringers of Eternal Peace.
Oh, yeah.
Essentially,
Fuck that.
they want
this Werewolf of the Apocalypse.
Themselves.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
They want to Dr. Kevorkian themselves and just, yes, sweet Canadian healthcare. Just give me that maid. Give me something for the pain and let me die. Oh, Jesus, just let it all end.
With the werewolves that run Halloween who I brought before, this is what the camp he belongs to.
Yeah.
And but
I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of Generation Hex were originally, Bringers of the Eternal Peace.
Either that, or they were again corrupted random interrupts, or not random interrupts. Actually, yeah, that's right. I was stuck between them and not.
If you want to know why
Hex.
entertainment industry sucks, a lot of these people are currently working in Hollywood.
Yes, absolutely.
Wait, dude, Adam, you know full well the entertainment industry was doomed to fail after the last shit they showed the last decade.
But the thing is, that's because a lot of Gen X people finally are getting creative control over parts of the fucking industry. And this is where they're going. It's mostly, hey, remember 80s thing I watched as a kid back before my dopamine receptors broke? I gotta consume product. Let's run this product into the fucking ground.
Greed, you've wasted 10 years of your life watching Stranger Things.
No. Except for a few exceptions, all they've done so far is make terrible fan fictions of media they like as children.
No. Well, here's the thing. These are also the people responsible for why the fuck Werewolf 5th Edition is the way it was.
Yes.
Yeah, I can tell.
They played it first. They played first and second, and this is the product.
Oh, I can fucking tell these are the people that were responsible for making Werewolf the way it is.
Same with Vampire 5th.
Running Generation Hex, by the way, is pretty fun because Halloween, I've based a lot of him off of John Francois Garepi, Adam. So whenever he speaks to you, he is a French Canadian, and he is not interested in killing you. No, instead, I have much better plans for you. I'm going to get you to see things my way. You understand that the Tratic Worm is not out to kill you if you manage to treat the Tratic Worm right. That's the whole plan behind him, is that he's not going to kill you, he's going to convert you to another BSD.
I also like how Generation Hex, their entire thing is they're fake news specialists.
That's the whole thing behind them, too. We're going to make outrageous claims, and you're going to believe every word they say because the media is so fucking compartmentalized.
Yep.
Okay, so
they're the noticers, as they're called nowadays.
Yes.
Oh, God.
So what you're saying is, if you wanted to have a really fun BSD character, what you need to do is you need to play them essentially as a type of person who would fucking go to the Shardy.
Yes. You play him as Sam Hyde.
Ew.
Say pull it up. And last group is the consultants, where you remember what we said before about Pentex and the BSDs working with them. This is them.
Yep.
This is basically them. You sign a corporate contract with Pentex. Now you're working for Pentex, and you have all of the fun first team weapons to play with now.
Yep.
Bombs away.
I got my arm surgically removed and then put a minigun on it.
Mm-hmm.
So straight up, if you wanted to do the if you want to do the wrestling thing that we talked about, unironically, this would be the type of person I would have be the runner of that organization. Like the leader of the leader of this organization is actually a BSD and a consultant. Yeah, it's Vince McMahon as a werewolf. There you go.
Well, what's the point of having power if you can't abuse it every once in a while? You know what I'm saying?
Spontaneously goes Krynos form to drive everyone insane. This is just special effects, you fucking crybaby. Stop weeping.
The other BSD character I use a lot, Pretender, he's one of these. And
I'm also envisioning Alex Jones for InfoWars as a subsidiary. You could totally do that as a consultant or Generation Hex.
Yeah, he signed on with a contract with Magadon, so he could get a massive handful of pills that give him all sorts of free Femoria powers with none of the drawbacks. However, he is now horribly addicted to them.
Basically.
Fun.
And every time he takes one, he gets a new Femoria power. That's
a
fucking idea right there, I realize.
Okay, hear me out. Hear me out. The sector, as portrayed by infernalists and entropy specialists.
This is the sector if you want to know the truth about it, bish.
So you got a Femoria that's possessed by the ghost of a skull pig.
Yeah.
You got you got a Nephondus in the form who worships an owl demon. Your generation Hex Frenchman who murdered someone allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
Allegedly.
Well, at this point, it's obvious, but we still gotta say that because he got rid of all the evidence. It's so obvious. Kyle, you've read Telltale Heart. You know when a guy is guilty.
Basically, yeah. You could just kind of
and the person fighting them is a highly corrupt silver fang with brain damage and drug use history.
Yeah.
And his fat cohort.
His fat cohort. Let's go.
every even villain and their pair of henchmen. You have like the really short and round one and the really tall lean one, like Cruella de Vil.
Well, the thing is, the problem is the fat one in this case is way taller than the Jaworski equivalent, because PPP is like 6'1" or 2.
He's fucking massive in size. To see pictures of this man.
Yeah, he's not quite as tall as the Quartering, but he's tall.
And then, Kyle, you've got 2 more camps that got added in W20 that I was going to talk about for like 5 sentences. The Princes of Ruin, who are a bunch of BSDs, are lying to themselves about what's going to happen when the worm takes over. They think there's going to be some sort of irradiated hellhole like Mad Max or Fist of the North Star they're going to conquer when the worm appears and causes the apocalypse. You know that's not going to happen.
Yeah, no, life itself is just going to end. God is going to smite the worm, and everything, goes back to square one.
Either that, or you have a samsaric reversal, basically.
Yeah. And then you have
you're not going to be around for it, though. Either way, you're not going to be around.
Oh no, you're going to get screwed. And then you have the Seekers of the Ancient that believe that the worm is holding out on them in terms of what power they could have. So they're trying to get dirt on the worm and find out the worm's secrets in order to empower themselves.
I think I could come up with better camp for the BSDs in my sleep.
You could, because W20 is fanfic at the end of the day.
Like all I have to do, just what I would do, I would call them the Deceivers, and I'd base it. I would steal wholeheartedly from Glorantha. Just base it on the concept of illumination.
Yeah.
Where you treat the worm as essentially the cosmological equivalent of chaos and is freedom from the world cycle, because it basically allows you to do things you otherwise couldn't.
AKA the themes of Gnosticism that the World of Darkness is based off of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you couldn't tell the
right
world.
On the spot.
World of Darkness is very based on Gnosticism.
And serving the worm is just a way to achieve Chim, and they're actually delusional enough to think you can swap out of it when you probably can, unless you have a willpower of insane.
Now with the Black Spot Dancer Kinfolk, by the way. Now, Kyle, you used one of these in Retro Appalachia.
Charlie Manson.
With
the Manson family was one.
And you used Trish in Retro Appalachia.
Also true.
And which is the whole thing with the Black Spot Dancer Kinfolk. Once again, you're not a BSD until you sign your name on the contract with the dance.
Yep.
However, the kin of the Black Spot Dancers do not live good lives. Most of these guys are Hamids. Most of these guys are from hilariously broken homes.
Yes.
Think of the most abusive upbringing you can and then exaggerate it. That kind of shit.
No, so you're telling me the Black Pharaohs take abuse victims? I'm saying no in the sarcastic way. They take abuse victims? No. Continue.
Yeah. That was in Retro Appalachia.
They're more redeemable than the Get, according to modern writers.
Yeah, but modern writers suck, and I hate them, and I'm gonna go kill them all. So anyway, but
the wrestling book you showed off last week is already better than what they could come out with, and it's not even done.
Exactly.
Yeah, and despite what people say, yes, occasionally it happens. There has been just straight up evil as fuck Black Spell Kinfolk. That does happen too.
Yeah, because
if you ain't got the power, sometimes you still want it anyway. And hey, guess who made a ritual that makes it much easier to do? Thanks, Samuel Haight. Now I can become what I was supposed to be.
Mm-hmm. Because after all, Kyle, do you subscribe to the belief of absolute power corrupts absolutely? But there's another way to look at that. It's absolute weakness corrupts absolutely.
Well, both are true, and you need both to be corrupted.
Right. You're put through a life that's so horrible and so miserable that the second that power presents itself to you, you will take it.
That's mentality.
There's one more paragraph that I don't want to read in full because they would get this thing possibly age restricted.
Yeah, they fuck wolves.
Well, no. The way they handle it's like battery farms. I'm just gonna say battery farms. That's all I think you need to know about the conditions of them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they did the whole bestiality sex film, and then with a wolf, and then
essentially it's what the Haken will eventually be forced to do.
Yes, but the unfortunate implications about making a lupus.
Yep.
Yeah.
Terrifying. Or you do what Flesh Eater did in Appalachia, and he sampled one too many pieces of flesh from a corrupted human and was possessed through proxy.
Shall we go over the relationships between other cairns, aka how the Black Spell Dancers think they can corrupt them?
Yes.
Yeah, I can
Or
see
how
that.
they
Let's go
actually do get corrupted. Because here's the thing: every tribe has had a member dance the spiral, so to speak.
Yes. Yeah,
Everyone.
you're all
None
you're
of
all
them.
targets.
I think they got
You're
a
all
bingo
guilty.
chart, in all honesty.
Shall we begin
That
with the
actually
Black
would be
Furies?
really funny.
It would
Like,
be.
okay, hear me out. Imagine, like, as a villain, a pack leader, it's like the entire reason they're attacking you is specifically to buck break one of the players into dancing the spiral, basically to enter Hirano, so that in their desperation they do the spiral.
You have one of
Or
those
finish
villains
their
that picks on you.
collection.
You have one of those villains that has a very personal relationship with the villain, with the hero. Love those. Let's see what you got, Kyle. Black Furies. Here we go.
Okay, so with the Black Furies, of course they want to have more power in the Gurra Nation overall, and, as the book remarks, human-born prejudices still deny them their ambition. The Gurra were once able to guide and influence human society, but now they really can't do anything to alter the patriarchy and the sexist attitudes. The Black Spiral Dancers then tend to consummate their grandest dreams. Most Furies who have walked the spiral no longer find themselves restrained by society's taboos. And they, find that in doing so, they completely redefine issues of gender. They use extreme sexual practice, violent misandry, and fetishism involving, severed genitalia. All common responses to dancing the spiral. Very few will fully renounce feminist beliefs, however, though some abandon their independence, submitting themselves to, breeders for the Black Spiral.
So-
They become hoes.
Yes.
So I have some thoughts about this, and a lot of this is I find it interesting that the tribe that's also pretty European based because they're from Greece
Yeah.
are talking and complaining about Western sexism. Given this is more of a thing I'd expect from, say, Hamid Silent Striders, for example.
Or anyone that lives in the
Silver
Central
Fangs.
Africa,
Muslim
Middle
countries.
East.
Silver
Yes.
Fangs of India.
Like the Red Talon would have more experience with this than the Black Fury would.
Probably,
I'm
but the
sorry.
Black Furies...
I've never liked this angle. I understand the point. I get the point. It's basically
You
to serve as the
know,
counterpart to the Get, because the Get are very chauvinist. I
Yeah,
get it.
it's the 90s. It was the left in the 90s.
It was.
Yeah,
Well,
no,
the dark irony is insert joke about modern feminism here because of the push for mutilation.
You dance the
Look
Black
here,
Sparrow, now you
everyone-
have an OnlyFans.
I'm assuming everyone in the audience understands this here, but let's be very real here. The most of the writers' understanding of feminism is very soft. Real actual
Most of the
sexism
writers
is not.
eventually wrote crap in Onyx Path.
Well, yes,
Right.
let's be very real here. People think there's sexism in the West. There really isn't. Really, if you want to talk about genuine sexism, go to the East.
And now we're asking
Hey,
questions
if you thought
of what
Exalted
is a
3
woman?
sucked, yeah,
Yep.
these are the same writers who were responsible for it.
What is a woman?
Yep.
Really,
Anyhow.
Adam? These are the same fuckers that did that book?
Yeah.
The same cadre. It's not the writers exactly, but the thing is, a lot of White Wolf alumni, they accept and tolerate and actually will support the stuff that you're seeing, the stuff that you see in the modern stuff.
I hate
Unless
them
you fuck them
so
over
much.
directly, in which case they hate it.
Yep.
I hate these people so much. The hypocrisy.
See,
Of
we're
so
never
many
going to get
people.
our shout from actual World of Darkness writers. Sad.
Oh yeah, all the
You're
good
welcome.
ones. All of our
This-
favorites have fucking disappeared, Kyle. I can't find their contact information anywhere.
No. I will simply say this here. This is why I say you could make an entire book series, a comic or animation using the World of Darkness, but I don't trust the fucking writers to do it properly.
And after all, guys like Bro Alpha Bus are fucking
Well, you'd go out of business.
fucking compromised anyway.
You go out of business, and yeah, the thing with Alpha is the moment I saw the glyphs, I knew it was cooked.
The minute you saw the latest episode on fucking
Yeah,
Autolis,
no.
where you just spent the entire time shitting on capitalism and didn't even make an episode.
So
No, I meant where you
capitalism-
saw the glyphs, when you saw the tribal glyphs, those are 5e glyphs.
Yeah,
I know.
I
used-
don't want to see the Setites refluffed as ministry.
As
No.
time went on with both Bro Alpha and Hunter Parenting, I used to stand by the series. Now I completely stand against it. The man's completely turned me against him.
The first 3 episodes are solid. After that, I kind of like
Yeah.
it's a good 3-parter, and then you can just move on.
And I'm noticing that I'm not alone in this thought too, because other people are being the shit of my sentiment. Bonars, Carl.
Okay. Bonars. So, of course, being the bottom of Garrow society, they're treated with a lot of ridicule. They live very desperate lives and resort to many extremes when escaping the horrors of their existence. But, the Black Spirals are trying to... actually, those who walk the Black Spiral are often shocked by what they've endured in Gaia's name. Many of the abductees who survive the Shattered Labyrinth are terrified when they realize the depths to which they've sunk. Some which overcompensate, resorting to obsessive cleanliness or compulsive behaviors. Other have much more grotesque, apparitions after which. Mental illness, of course, is a common affliction among the homeless, allowing the freedom to indulge in the most shocking behavior imaginable. Black Spirals respect these desires and reward them amply. Mm-hmm. Following that, you have the Children of Gaia. Many members of the Children of Gaia...
I was going to say, it's we got a pretty good summation with the Bonars. I honestly got nothing to add to that.
Yep.
Yeah, it's perfectly reasonable as a take.
Yeah.
Yep. It's like, wow, these guys have shitty lives. What if we make the lives slightly less shitty, but still just as shitty in a different way?
Here,
it's shittier in a different way, but physically it's better.
Yeah, no, let's be very real here. The Fire Worm has easy access to a lot of homeless people because, let's be honest here, a good number of them are homeless because of their own fucking actions.
Usually, the homeless people that are getting their lives together, you don't see them on the street asking for money.
No, you don't.
No.
It's easy to hate the rich, but do you have the courage to hate the poor?
You spend a few days in South Charlotte like I do, and you'll find out real quick.
Yeah. Anyway, here, sorry for bringing this back up. I had to disconnect for a second there. My phone had to do a fucking
software update.
I was simply going to say here is, along with other people, do not. I understand that Alpha Bilsa has to.
Great, we're past this point. Keep going.
Yeah, let's move on.
Fine.
All right, Children of Gaia.
Children of Gaia. So, many Children of Gaia are known for liberal attitudes towards free love and recreational drug use. While few find love or revelation, others become jaded. They sort of run from responsibility for physical pleasures. The Black Spirals, of course, try to look for these castaways and try to offer them pleasures far beyond what the Gaian's wildest dreams could possibly deliver.
Essentially, they're trying to do the ecstasy cult on them, and it actually works fairly well.
Yep,
You're going to bust the fattest nut of your life, and you can bust it every day as long as you do this. You like screwing my daughter, huh? Well, I screw her too, and as soon as you love the worm, you get all to tell you.
And that's basically what happens, is that they fuck too much, and then bam, you're dancing the spiral.
You got porn brain.
You woke up in the
What
morning,
you're saying is that
you open the door.
Cicada is a former Children of Gaia.
Yeah, you fried your mind watch all this trans porn.
God.
Well, I will admit it does it differently when you watch it, yeah.
That's not what I was saying. Oh, God.
Now we get to their most hated foe, the Irish.
The Irish.
Irish wolves are very proud of their heritage. Though the modern world doesn't really fully understand the Fianna beliefs, the Spirals have preserved and in many ways perverted many of the forgotten traditions of...
Because they're all the fucking same, just because they have the same blog. They're all the fucking same, isn't it?
In it?
Oh, you Irish are the fucking same.
What the fuck kind of language
all
is
you
that?
Celts are the fucking same, even though they have a completely different accent, different language.
Hey, fuck you!
And not to even
half the
mention,
Scots don't even speak Gaelic. They speak a version of Germanic English. Scots is not.
Yeah, like if I remember correctly, here there's like 5 different dialects of Gaelic.
It sounds like we go off topic, but no, that's it. That's just what the book says. That they hate each other because of the natural rivalry between Irish and Scots.
You see, according to White Wolf, Mexico is the source of all evil, and Celtic people are degenerate pig monsters that are the product of rape. This is White Wolf cosmology. This is what they think.
I don't
this
know.
Is what they think of you.
Just look at any depiction of an African American in any first edition vampire source book, and you'll know exactly what we mean.
Just look at why they think that all Bruja are magically black, even the ones that weren't.
Yes,
they've been race swapped.
Basically, that's exactly what it is.
I cannot wait for Ekaterina the Wise to get the race swap.
I'm going
treatment.
to be real here. If I was to actually give a good estimate of the ethnicity of most of Bruja, they will probably be Greek.
Come
on, don't you want Ekaterina the Wise to get race swapped to being black?
Well, yeah.
I will hurt you, John. Adam, I will find you and hurt you.
It blew our minds. Like me and JoJo were flipping through Venture characters, and we found one black Venture, and it blew our minds.
Oh, wow, they actually got one. How about that?
Yeah, they got one. Yeah.
Wait, there's a singular black Ventrue.
Yeah, single one.
Seneca.
That's a goddamn diversity hire by the Ventrue. I never
my
thought I'd
favorite
see
was
it.
when they silently genocided all the Indian ones. They stopped thinking about them because the Ventrue are the White Clan. They just forgot about the Indians.
About the Nava.
Oh my god.
Gave them a unique name and everything. They got.
They don't exist.
Speaking of race relations, get Fenris.
Yes, get a Fenris. Why does violence never seem to satisfy them fully? They're filled with rage and bloodlust. Those who succumb to frenzy a little too often, of course, feel the call of the worm. It's a horde revelation, but they start thinking that, if they can kill all the worm spirits, then maybe he'll be good. But then you kill a worm spirit, and then you get angrier. You kill another one, and you get angrier, but then you keep getting stronger. So the cycle repeats itself ad nauseum. And then...
I disagree with this take partially, but let's go on.
And so once they do submit to the Shadowed Labyrinth, the shame is absolutely gone. They can just dive headfirst into ultraviolets with absolutely no limits or regrets, and freedom is forever theirs. They get off on all the sadomasochism genius of killing and mutilating literally everything that they look at. Such is the life of a corrupted Fenrir.
So I personally think this is more of a Red Talon thing, because the entire thing about the Get is their pride. In fact, the first two examples of those who danced the Black Spirals were those who thought that being forced to guard the gates was beneath them. It's arrogance. It's not like rage is a concern, but one of the things about induction into their tribe is to master it. That's one of the first things they push you to the point where they actively abuse you to get you into that mindset.
The Gander family has a very, I would say, they have a very elitist, not in the sense of elitist as Silverfang, more as I'm better than you, therefore I will bully you.
You have to be the best. So in this case, I would have it be that you pick on their insecurities, like their perceptions of where they're weak.
Use a cunning totem.
I think that would make more sense. I even in this stage, I think they were starting to not understand the Get.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, but the Gets are getting federized.
There is a chauvinist element, so you can get their women a lot easier. That's another one. You can also pick them apart that way by focusing on their women. They treat them like crap. It's easy to pull them away. After all, the Black Furies do it. Like, you could do that, or you could hit on them, because the entire thing is they need to be strong to defend their family. And yeah, there is a crazy berserker element to them. Some of the camps are especially crazy, like Tyr's Chosen.
Yes.
But it's a lot easier to go after their pride or insecurities, in my opinion.
You want to get Icarus to fly too close to the sun.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then he falls and drowns.
Alternatively, you can trick them to dance the spiral to prove how strong they are to resist it.
Like,
you ain't got the stones to dance the spiral.
It's like, you're too much of a pussy. You won't dance that spiral. It's like, fuck you, watch me.
Some of them aren't dumb enough to fall for it.
They probably would too. You could get a Fenrir to do that.
The story for one of them is legitimately the dude tries to find and kill his own weakness. So I think you could easily trick him into dancing the spiral if you do it.
Wave that pocket watch.
That's like the Emperor Claudius of Rome trying to get the legions to fight the sea.
With the GWs.
By the way, Fenrir himself shows up and says, "What the fuck you doing, bro? You okay? I'm here to fight my own weakness." Man, use a bitch. Bites him once.
I mean, and I'll be very real, very very real. Fenrir is probably the Giga Chat of like, I know I'm strong because everybody knows I'm strong.
The Sigma male, yes.
Well, in this case, he got pissed because you basically said, so you're saying your whole tribe's fucking weak. Because you're not confident in yourself. You're saying you're weak because you can't accept that they're strong.
Again, Fenrir saying is the strong do not say they're strong. Now nut up and shut up.
And then he bit him on the heart. Literally forced him to rip out his own fucking heart.
And it chomped it.
Check this shit out. Anyway, Glasswalkers. Both the Garrow and the Black Spiral Lancers think that they're an abomination. They can't embrace the wild or the worm. They live in cities that fuck up both the forces of the Triad. Nonetheless, their status as Ora among the Garrow allow them to consider allies no same wolf would ever choose. Pentex will send out headhunters to goodness gracious, I cannot talk today. They'll send out headhunters to recruit glasswalkers, and as the name suggests, if they can't convince a Garrow to go through the, quote, employee orientation in the Spiral Labyrinth, they'll return with a head instead.
In fairness, I think glasswalkers would be ones they'd love to target specifically because of their type. Like, here's the thing: if I was a BSD, if I had to make a BSD character, I would target the nearest glasswalker first in a pack.
Mm-hmm. Is after all, the whole modus operandi with the worm is that the worm is right on the heels of the Weaver. The Weaver needs to accomplish her win condition before the worm can catch up and destroy it,
Yes.
which happens constantly.
And on top of that, thinking about it like this, if you're trying to dance the spiral to realize the worm's truths, right?
Mm-hmm.
You would learn to really fucking hate the Weaver, because imagine knowing that to either fix and or force the Triad to renew. Imagine, like, you have to destroy all aspects, and this piece of shit's just building it back up.
I mean, I will be honest here. A lot of people like to blame the Wild for a lot of shit, but no, most of the world's crap comes from
The Wild didn't really do anything.
No, it's all three. It's all three.
Yeah, I said most.
Yep.
Not all, not singly.
See,
yes.
the Red Talons, the
So-
fucking schmucks.
These are the ones that would be the easiest trick, in my opinion.
Yeah, so the Garrow typically deny the Red Talons a chance to fully indulge in all of their bestial natures. The leaders of the Garrow endlessly pursue a pointless debate, even as the world is destroyed, as what they are exactly supposed to do. The real problem with the world is, of course, with the humans. The Red Talons, who can't hold their patience any longer, given to absolute and unquestionable hatred towards all of mankind. And once their hearts break under the strain of so much rage, of course, then they begin their descent into the labyrinth.
And this is why in Werewolf 5th they should have fallen.
It would make more sense for this to be the Fallen Tribe instead of Gavin.
Yeah.
I'm good.
This is why. Yeah. This right here is why.
Because they hate humanity so much. They just want to fucking kill them. They do the Sam Hyde bit of, let's just fucking kill them. And then...
Alternatively, if you want to give them a dignified death, or at least mostly dignified death, have them just pull a Croatan.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It's like, holy shit, the Beast of War is escaping again. We need to go kill it.
Are you, Adam and Kyle, familiar with the comic Crossed?
I
know the comic Crossed. I'm aware of it.
You just get a bane where after the Red Talons fight it, the spit and the blood gets in their mouths and it turns them into rage monsters.
Wait, hold on. Have you heard of the Cross comic where he did the Cross but werewolf version?
Yes.
I would also say another thing about the Red Talons that makes me inclined, because if the Haken are doomed because they're only focusing on one aspect, these guys are fucked century. Like,
I mean, I'll say this here as a werewolf, as a Red Talon stand, I do see the Red Talons become actually fall into the worm out of all the tribes.
Oh yeah, they're evil as shit, and that's part of the reason why I like them.
Oh yeah.
I mean, to give you an idea, I think the Black Furies are ones that I dislike more, but that's just because they're very one note.
Mm-hmm.
Red Talons have at least some nuance. Like, I shit on them a lot, but it's a combination of bad players and just White Wolf doesn't really know what to do with them.
Yeah, it is a hard premise to write, I will admit. Like, to get into the mind of a wolf who's actively seeing the world being destroyed by mankind. Lethally hard to get into that mind space because we are human.
But
also like, how do you handle that? Because, like, the way dogs and wolves work are like, they're similar, but there's enough differences.
Oh yeah, to make it hard to read.
I
will say, to his credit, I think
envisioning dogs as having Down syndrome because we made our pet breeds dumber.
What?
Wait, I can imagine this now. I can imagine a Red Talon that's fallen to the worm. AKA, I can imagine a whole entire campaign called the Big Bad Wolf. It's a Red Talon who's perpetually in his dire wolf form that goes around hunting and eating humans.
You ain't Goldilocks.
I was thinking more like this is how the pigs died out. This is how the boar shifters died out. You do the story of the three pigs, but it's like just one really powerful possessed Red Talon trying to do
Adam. You actually said the Red Talons exactly here. They are basically the boar shifters at the moment.
With the Shadow Lords.
Yes. So As they are, false pride and lust for power are their greatest weakness, as they always have been. They seem to think they can play both ends against the middle and gain vast power by meddling in occult practices and using them to seize control of the Garrow. And they're not going to learn anything ever and continue to make the same mistakes forever. The Shadow Lords who have walked the spiral, Haken being one of them, have indeed gathered entire packs of Shadow Lords to do their bidding. It actually mentions two others, Sakura and Kirijama, also recruit elite Shadow Lords in order to do the worm's bidding.
Mm-hmm. Kirijama is a worm tome that I really like that we've gone over before, where Kirijama's whole thing is you need to be an assassin. At no point can anyone ever see your face, is the ban.
I'm going to be real here. If there was a tribe that was most likely to fall to the worm, legitimately, my honest opinion, it would probably be the Shadow Lords.
Yes, that was the original plan, Greed. That was the original plan.
They're the runner. Yeah, they're the runners-up because they did a lot of questionable shit.
When you read through first edition with the Shadow Lords, the whole implication is that they're going to fall.
Which would have been the smarter idea.
Yes.
Yeah, no, if they were going to make a tribe that fell in 5th edition, it should have either been the Shadow Lords or the Red Talons. No one else.
Actually, here's the wild card that I think would have been even more fun. They committed to the Glasswalkers all becoming drones and becoming eventually cyber dogs.
Oh no, you're Eden. You've been speaking Eden too much.
No.
Oh, come on! Don't you want Cybermen but as dogs?
No.
Why?
It means he's going to be right if that's the case.
There's no way they would. They need to get the Nazis out, even though they killed their Nazis.
Anyhow,
they're gonna get rid. They're gonna get rid of the Irish. Oh wait, they did. They renamed them.
They did. They named the Heart Wardens, and I will find every 5e writer that ever did that, and I will gouge their eyes out with a spoon. Anyway,
kick them in the nuts.
Yes, the Silent Striders. So, the members of this tribe are known for traveling long distances through the most dangerous places in both the physical world and the spirit realms. They are especially familiar with the lands of the dead. So why do they resist the most challenging journey of all, the dance through the shattered labyrinth? And, not all of them originate at the Temple Obscura. Many times, Silent Striders who have ventured a little too far in the underworld realize that they've accidentally arrived at the threshold of the first circle. The despair in his soul has shown them the way, but by then it's absolutely too late. Fallen Silent Striders become complete masters of the realms of Malpheus and the Stygian depths. So it's a lot of power.
Struggling to read, it's because of the marks literally obscuring the text here.
Yes, that doesn't help.
Graphics design is our passion.
The hidden tunnels connecting the spiral pits are far more vast than the Garrow can ever imagine. And learning the intricacies is a distinct honor. And who better to do that job than somebody who used to travel to quite literally every corner of the known world?
I actually have a horrifying image in my head where, okay, hear me out. You're a pack of younglings, right? And you're going on your journey. And you just see an old man staring in the distance. His ears are just bleeding, and he's nodding, and he's muttering, and then he's like, yes, yes, excellent. And then he begins speaking speech that sounds like cockroaches in your ear canal.
Oh my god, that's horrifying.
He
sidesteps downward, and then he simply says, "See you in Oslo." And you have no idea because you're in Australia. Then 5 months later, you're in Oslo for some reason due to a moon bridge accident.
Yeah, he just sleep rage into you.
That's
he turned into the Manchurian candidate.
You could do some really disturbing Silent Strider stuff as a fallen.
They're creepy by design, and they're very good to use.
And on top of that, keep in mind that they can also. Okay, hear me out. They drag other Farah to dance the spiral.
Yeah.
Really?
Because you don't see that in this book too, other Farah dancing the spiral.
No.
Think about it. Like, if you get a Silent Strider, since they have good ties to the Farah by comparison to the other tribes, God, imagine if he was able to trick.
Hold on now. If we were to take a step backwards, I know we're not done with the Guru yet, but which Farah do you think would actually fall to the
Corax.
The whole breed?
Yeah, the Corax.
Corax out of curiosity, I'd say.
Really? I was going to say the Khan.
The tiger people?
Where tigers, yeah.
Some of the Bastet lines could be also pretty pliable. Yes.
Mm-hmm. The fucking losers that are the Pamunka.
The reason why I say the con is because they're very similar to the White Howlers. A lot of the numbers are dead, and they're very, very angry.
Yep.
Okay, hear me out. If you want a Joker max, the best way to Joker max is if you shove a Nuisha through it.
Oh my god, no. I could not stand fucking Danston as like a corrupted Nuisha. That'd be terrifying.
I thought you were going to say a Jabba.
A Jabba would also be horrifying, man.
That would be pretty good. Or alternatively, for maximum pain, and maximum pain to myself, a Kitsune, Dark Kitsune.
There is nothing more
any Tricker Pharaoh would be rough.
Especially one with the level 5 gift that possesses you.
Wait, I would say this here. You would think someone would say the Nazi, but there's already a branch of the Nazi they're in
Jorokumo.
Yeah, I think they're called mountain spiders or goblin spiders.
Jorokumo, yeah.
And their asses all died in the war of shame.
They're still around.
I would have said Rokea for maximum horror, but they already exist. They're called Balefire Sharks because of the atomic bombings.
Yes.
I love the concept of Balefire Shark. I'm not gonna lie.
Give me the Silverfangs.
Yes. So the so-called nobility of the Garo, already close enough to corruption as it is, doesn't take much to just push them over the edge. If they'd only realize what madness is already, they'd, or goodness gracious, if only they'd realize that the madness they already experience is a sign of their worm corruption. The Silverfang gently slides towards corruption day in and day out. They begin to doubt the purity of their past. They remember the most shocking details of all the past lives. And once they pass through the Shadowed Labyrinth, they feel free from all of their guilt. Amnesia is a very common form of dementia that follows them after they pass through the labyrinth, allowing them to be reborn as black spirals, to be forgiven of all of their past sins. And some of them even gain delusions of grandeur.
That's what happened to Jonas Albrecht. That's what happened to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically.
That's why he said, I'm sorry that I'm old and need to die, werewolf.
This may sound entirely weird, but I think the Silverfangs are one of the least likely to fall. Now, hear me out.
Oh no! Given their shititude, no.
Great. How many houses of Silverfangs have already fallen?
Motherfucker, let me say my thought. The reason why I think that is because the Silverfangs are too controlled by Falcon for that to happen.
Because he won't let them go.
Yeah.
But the problem is, by being controlled like that, there will be some that says, "No, I can leave better." Like there will be a few that are dumb enough.
Yeah, no. I'm saying as a tribe as a whole. Will some fall? Definitely, but the tribe as a whole, because they're too controlled by Falcon, not happening.
See it.
Well, yeah, fair enough.
Let's see. Kyle, if I may do the Stargazers?
Please.
All right. So, Stargazers are already on their way there because I just need to say two names. The Metastic Birth and the Ouroborans.
Yes, both of them literally descending into Malpheus itself to try and find the balance worm. All you're going to find is your own destitution.
It's it. This is what happens with you intellectuals. You ask too many questions and you talk yourself out of what you know is true.
I just realized this. So many tribes are close to falling to the worm.
So many, right? They just need a little push, and that's it.
This is not good.
All it takes is one bad day.
Every
one of us had a bad day once.
He is jerkamaxing, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely.
I bet you had a bad day too, Mr. Silverfang.
How
was it? One of your kinfolk being killed by a Pentex first response squad.
Did you walk in? Hold on. This is a joke. Did you walk in your son fucking your wife? What?
The Ten and the Wendigo are pretty easy to summarize. I can say both of them in one sentence.
Yep.
Kyle, what you want to use? You want to use the greatest racism that humanity and the worm has given us.
Sorry.
Racism.
Yep. Okay. Hey, do you hate white people? Yes. Do you hate white people? Yes. Would you like to kill all of them? Yes.
You got to emphasize the black and black sparrow dancer.
The what?
You got to emphasize the black and black sparrow dancer.
Now, in fairness with the Uktena, because of their spirit management, they're basically trying to get them to bite off more than they can chew. So it's not purely racism. With the Wendigo, no. Like, we made fun of the Get for doing... No, the Wendigo are literally that fucking easy to trick.
Yeah, that is that easy. Is after all, the Wendigo's key character trait is bitterness, after all. And then you've got like a few other ones they talk to as well, like the Uncity Court, where the Uncity Court kind of, sort of, like, you more or less just chase after the Uncity Court and just cause chaos in your wake. The Uncity Court's trying to prepare for an eternal winter where you think it's like apocalypse, but not really, because it's just humanity just becomes boring forever, and that's what eternal winter is. Then in Fondi, where you basically are working hand in hand, and Spectres, where you think you have a friend here, and then you find out just what the Spectres are working for, and you're going to quickly realize that no, you're not on the same page.
The Sabbat are great short to medium term allies, but the thing is, at the end of the world, you're gonna have to knife fight each other to figure out who runs the end.
They're all sitting there at the edge of apocalypse, and it's like, we did it. We destroyed the world. Okay, now you guys are gonna do what I say, right? As they all pull out knives. It's literally like how Caesar was walking into the Senate. It's like, hey, did you guys see the crown they put on my head? You guys are holding knives.
Instead of getting super clinical at the end with the tribal totems and gifts and shit, let me go into character creation rules with BSD.
Yeah.
How to make your BSD count.
First edition, because second edition didn't have it.
Yeah, instead, for some fucking reason.
Well, no, they decided instead to go into bigger detail with Pentex, which I actually like.
Yeah,
they go into rights.
But
then they waste an entire section on Formori, even though they had Freak Legion.
Did Freak Legion come out?
Came out after, yeah.
Yeah, it's sad. Chicken out of the egg. It's like you also got to talk about release schedule too. So guilty to proven innocent.
They did write Freak Legion first, but I don't think it was published yet, so that's why.
And so with the Black Spot answers, you have two weaknesses. First one, you're insane. Pick what score mental illness do you want? Do you want amnesia, berserker, chloromania, delusions of grandeur, habromania, hallucinations, homicidal tendencies, insecurities?
Literally can't stop dancing.
Clausomania, which means you shout everything you say. Manic, masochistic, misomania, as in you hate everything. Multiple personalities, obsession, overcompensation, paranoia, phagomania, as in you eat constantly, even when you're not hungry. Phobias or sadism.
Call it hyperphagism, but fair enough. Also, for those wondering, habromania is morbid gaiety. Basically, you're the type of person who would laugh at aborted fetuses. Mother's dying of cancer.
Everything's just a joke to you.
Yep.
Guys, in my backyard, I have 30 aborted fetuses.
Your next weakness is how easy it is for you to be spotted by the Garo Nation, Kyle. You'd have no idea how to live in the wilderness on character creation, because 90% of you are Hamid, and the mess are kept in tortured hives forever. And the Black Spot answers are also pretty easy to spot, because the gift, since Worm, will instantly go off. Now you do have...
So you're usually pretty fucking mutated anyway.
Now you have Banes you can go and find, like the Puppeteer Bane that we found in the Valkenberg Foundation, that can help offset this, but you know, unless you have one of those, you're going to get identified. And if puppeteers were everywhere, then everyone would have one day.
Yeah, I just realized this here. There are some advantages to being a Black Spot. One, you're not on attack on sight or getting ganked by like 50 different Banes or 50 different Femoris. That's pretty darn good.
Yeah, but conversely, you're also outnumbered easily 10-1 by the other tribes. Like, yeah, you're the largest of them, but you're outnumbered every time.
Scrolling down to page 74, your Bane totem is Whippoorwill, where it's not that interesting of a totem, but out of all the...
It's like a Psychopomp, and I think it's the only one that wasn't a Bane totem initially. Like, it was an actual totem that decided to go to Chaos.
It is the Native American Grim Reaper bird. It is a bird that leads you to your death.
I will be real here. I heard people keep saying that whippoorwills are terrifying. I heard its cry. It's not that bad. It's not that scary.
It's a fucking annoying as shit if you're trying to sleep while camping.
It's like...
He goes woo 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 woo.
Which, if you're wondering, I think this is an Appalachian myth, if I recall correctly.
It is.
Essentially, as you're dying, they're psychopomps because they can actually grab and eat souls.
Yes. And
it's mostly known. Most people know about it because if you've ever read Dunwich Horror or the Dunwich Horror, they reference it.
It's the bird. As a BSD, you begin with 3 points of willpower. You have 4 points of background, which can be applied to every background except for pure breed.
That makes sense.
You have a selection of 3 gifts as a Blackspell Dancer for the Blackspell Dancer character creation. Bane Protector, Senseworm, or Shroud, depending on which one you want to take. And then you have your Auspice gifts, and then you have your breed gifts.
I could be wrong about this one here, but this was in the 20th edition version. I know we're not using that one here. You could take the Battle Lord's gifts as well.
You could.
Essentially, that was something they did in one of the later books. 20th is really nice because it compiles everything.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that out of the books, Vampire is probably the best written because it summarizes everything. Werewolf is in the middle because it kind of waffles in the beginning and here and there. Mage is just, hey, we need to make 3 books and cram it into one. Well, what can we do? I don't know. Just get like a bunch of random art
legitimately believe the writer for Mage had schizophrenia when they wrote that. I mean,
in fairness, if you read any of the first edition Mage books, you know that they're schizophrenic because they looked at Ars Magica, which they had the rights to from it's an earlier series, and said, "Hey, let's make a system based on that."
It'd be even crazier. And then, Kyle, you've also got some other fun stuff in your classroom as well, because your eyes will constantly glow either green or red in your classroom.
That's kind of fucking sick.
I forget this here. I don't have the book in front of me at the moment. Do you have access to Fomori powers? Because you should.
Yes.
Fomori powers,
you can pick them up.
You can make packs of the Bane, and then the Bane will give you powers that goes off of the same rating and cost system that is in Freak Legion.
If you want a random one, you could just jump into a vat of toxic waste and then come out, and then you have a random Fomori power, and then lose a point of appearance.
No. That's the ability for werewolves to also get Fomori powers. It makes them extremely dangerous if they know what they're doing.
And then
I mean, at a level 5 rank, they can just hurl balefire, have fun.
I might as well quickly summarize what Whippoorwill does. Its background cost is 6. It's a cunning totem. It gives you the ability to imitate all birds and increases your perception score by 2. The band is that its bastards
because whippoorwills are not actually known for their imitation ability. I think that's Mockingbird.
It is. And then the band is that the whippoorwill bans its bastards from harming any bird, including Korax.
Huh. Well, that's
still a bird.
Difficult.
Yep. No killing the Korax for you.
So wait, I can't harm a Korax, but could I mentally fuck one?
You cannot harm it.
Physically or mentally?
That's
if the bird consents.
Yep. And your other totems, just quickly summarize them, are Kirajama, the hidden foe, who we have no idea what he looks like, because being the hidden foe is his whole shtick. Green Dragon, the master of all balefire and the source of all balefire. Bat, the fucking Camazot's totem. Hakaken, who used to be a Shadow Lord, and now he's this giant crab Tyrannosaurus Rex demon monster. Dark Fungus, who looks like a big piece of shit, and he's just evil hallucinogenic mushrooms. Real Shab, the Face Eater, which is just the random pile of flesh that dissolves your face off. Glue Goo, Dancer of Corruption, aka the mother of all Nexus Crawlers. Gamoosh. No, hold on, that's not anything else. It was one that was like a giant ball of fat. His name is escaping me.
Let me see.
Hang on. Let me see if I can figure it out.
Yeah,
it's probably it's in 20.
Is it Relshub?
There's Gamoosh the Hellroar, Horlock.
Is it?
No, that's not. No, that's
Relshub isn't the one you're talking about, right?
Yeah, Relshab is the one that looks like a booger.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then I don't remember his name, but that's fine because you're not going to take him anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. Any more totems?
We have Minotaur, even though it's more Samuel hates shit.
Wait, Minotaur is a part of the war? Never mind.
Technically, Minotaur is corrupt enough that a Black Spiral Dancer can worship him.
So wait, like the Opus?
Yes.
Really?
You could, hypothetically.
Wait, the Black Spirals took the Opus's damn.
That's fucked.
Technically, Samuel Hake did.
Well, it's more that Bull's still around. The Minotaur is more like the spirit of what the Apis became after they realized that it was over. The Negro Nation screwed them.
Yeah, I imagine the Bull spirit is still around because bulls are still relatively everywhere.
And you can still take bullets to hit them.
Also, if you are curious, you can redeem Minotaur in the Skinner quest in Werewolf 20th. It's one of the better written books.
I'm curious. What does Minotaur give you?
Minotaur, I will read off what it does.
Strength boosts, if I remember right.
Alright, so what this thing does for you?
Because his entire thing is strength.
No surprising. I bet he's a power totem.
He also no girls allowed. Literally, he fucking hates the Black Furies, if I recall.
This will be the one that I'll read. Then that's it. Minotaur places his children. Okay. Minotaur places his children in contact with spirits that can teach them gifts, and thus his children can learn most gifts rank 3 or lower at a reduced cost. He also grants each of his children an extra dot in stamina and extra dot in survival. The ban is that Minotaur demands that his children hurt and slay all of Pegasus' children when they come into contact with them.
Yep.
Yeah. You must hunt down and you must kill Black Furies.
He really has a hate boner for the Black Furies for some reason.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the idea is they're hinting that the Black Furies were responsible for most of the Apis' deaths.
Yeah. Samuel Haight never got the Black Fury.
Wait a minute. Apises are the midwives of them, right?
Yes.
That's why.
Yeah, the Apis is supposed to be the midwives of all the fair breeds.
That's why. Because their whole purpose was to help the guru give birth. Give birth. The Black Furies are the female tribe. Therefore, because they turned on them, their totem turned his back on them.
It was a guy that came to her aid, and that was it.
Yeah. All right. Any more totems we should know about?
No, I think we've hit time also.
Yes.
Yeah. I will simply end on this message here. If you want to run a Black Spirals game, and typically most people won't, it's simple, it's hard, but it's a interesting game. I will say that much.
Try and keep everybody on the same page. It's the same as trying to run a Black Crusade game with 40k.
Either way, it's going to be rough. I mean, I think there's some interesting stories to be told, but much like with Freak Legion, I feel like this is one of those instances in which it's going to be so grotesque to the point in which you're going to need to go take a shower afterwards.
Mm-hmm. Yes, basically, it's the only people that could really play, and I mean the genuine evil characters of fictional worlds, like the Nefandi, not the Sabbat, because the Sabbat still have honor in a way.
Yeah, because the BSDs, it's more that you've signed your name on the contract, and now you've surrendered your soul over to something that you can't take back.
I mean, I'm going to be real here. I can see a BSD campaign, basically you trying to conquer a city in destruction. I can see that.
I was just going to say that the thing with the Black Spiral dancers are there's many ways to dance the spiral. There's many perceptions you can do. I would say I would have to actually reread Freak Legion, but you don't have to make it turn into a horror show.
Yeah, no, like I was
Spiral dancers in many interesting ways.
Like I was about to say, you can run a Black Spiral campaign where you're where you're giant, where you're the enemy. Basically you're playing the dungeon lord from the games. Don't get too graphic with it. Just play the bad guy in a very pulpy way, and it can be very fun.
And you can do a full Umbra game. You can do a full game that takes place in the Umbra.
Yeah, hold on. What alternative?
Like the iterations of the Joker. Reminder that the monster clown, while a thing, people always forget the 1950s version, where he would do things like make boner-themed crimes.
Boner-themed crimes?
Boner.
So originally, the term boner is an old-timey word for fuck-up, mistake, accident. So what happened was,
you do fuck up people with a boner,
Joker fucked up a crime. Yeah. So there's a great panel where it's like, people are making fun of my boner, eh? Well, then I'll give them the biggest boner of them all.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
That's terrible.
And the entire thing is he does a bunch of crimes involving the theft of pieces of art or literature that were mistakes, errors in print.
And there's this boner crime.
Yeah, like point is here. I'm going to be real here. You don't have to go pure grim and fucked up of grotesque things as you describe as you mutilate a child. You could just do the cartoon villain way and just have fun that way. You don't have to go.
Yeah, you play the Captain Planet villains, or you can play or alternatively, if you want to really traumatize people, play a Nuisha who has danced the Black Spiral to make it maximally awful. Traumatize Johnny. You know you want to.
Terrible.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna lie here. I can play evil campaigns, both truly dark and funny dark. It just depends on my mood.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's more playable than the Formori, and definitely more playable than the Nefandus. Well,
And
technically, you can do more things with Nefandus.
Either way, it's going to be rough.
Oh yeah, the Nefandi
I won't lie here. I like the idea of playing a demon summoner Nefandus. That sounds like a fun little campaign.
I mean, the reason why I'm not using Nefandi in the Tuesday Mage game is because of how one-note they are.
You need to have a lot of lads, and you need to be creative. That's how you need it to work.
Yeah.
Otherwise you get the problem that I have with Red Talons. Because yes, you can definitely do it. Rapper did fine, but if you play them one note, they're gonna suck.
And same thing with the Black Sparrow Dancer. There's no redeeming them either.
No, the Black Furies are right there. Their tribe books, like even their second edition, still kind of fucking rough.
Yeah, you signed your name on the contract. You can't unsign your name off the contract. Once you sign the devil deal, that's it.
Yeah. Individual Black Spirit, I will say this here. Redeemable individual Black Spirals are cool. The whole tribe, no, they're fucked. The whole tribe is signed.
And even then, you're still having psychic signals from the worm. I mean, you can have a Black Spiral that says, I made a mistake, and you try to have him deal less damage, but he's still going to have those impulses in his head.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna lie, I love a redemption character. Very fun, very role play, very very good. But again, it depends on my mood whether I would role play that game.
And there I believe that's the hard cutoff time, Kyle.
That it is. Black
That's
Spirals.
Yeah, thank you, gentlemen, for coming out and doing bits with us.
Yes, thank you very much.
Tune in next time when we call in Red Bar to do an episode with us.
Indeed. Good night, everybody.
It's part of our massive scheme to get into Rogan Sphere, right?
Is that what we're doing?
It is.
Hex, go.
Our goal for 2026 is that we're going to get Kurt Metzger on.
Why? Okay. Hey,
GN,
you
go to bed.
Metzger, you get Ethan Ralph instead.
No, absolutely not. I will quit the show if you bring him on. I'm not even fucking with you. Don't even joke about that shit.
Welcome to the illustrious Killstream Galliard group.
Oh my god.
Group. Fucking
I will say this here. Do the Black Spiral Dancers suffer from quality over quantity? When a Black Spiral Dancer truly excels, they're like, you need a whole pack to deal without one Black Spiral Dancer. When they don't, they're not that scary. That's my opinion of them.
They run on ninja logic, and that's where I'll end it.
That's actually a good example. Continue.
Bye, guys. Rip the cord.